I've taken advice and done some research, and I've come to the frightening conclusion that I'm suffering from exploding head syndrome.
Transfer fees up. Season tickets up. High prices up. Why the blooming heck are you still up?
Topical sport and debate worth staying awake for. The Two Mics.
All night long.
On Talk Sport.
All night long.
Look at the light!
Schweinhund.
This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mics. It's time to say a very, very good morning to Mr. Mike, a Porky, a Parry. Very good morning to you, Mr. Parry.
A very good morning to you, Mike, as well. And can I immediately say...
Yes.
Yes,
immediately.
I cannot accept all these people texting me back, tweeting me back this evening saying, have I gone mad when I welcomed the semi-final draw for the League Cup in that Everton have drawn Manchester City.
Well, they're probably doing that
I welcome that.
No, they're probably doing that yesterday because yesterday you were saying how you were expecting and hoping to get Stoke.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You did. You said you hoped to get Stoke.
I said to win the League Cup, you've got to beat every team who's still left in the competition. Therefore, I don't mind who we get.
When we were talking to our football expert, you said...
Which football expert?
I can't remember who we had on last night.
Ah, you see. So your selective memory... Your selective...
Do you remember who it was?
Yes, it was Adrian Heath.
Adrian Heath?
Yes.
No, I think that was on Monday night.
That was Adrian on Monday night. It was Adrian Heath, yeah. And on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning.
Yeah. Who was
Tuesday
that?
night, Wednesday morning.
Who was it?
It was the Scottish guy.
The Scottish guy?
Yeah.
Which guy?
The guy who works for ESPN.
Mark Donaldson?
Yes, it was.
Oh, well, you probably said it to him then.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that at all. What I said was, to win the competition, you've got to beat every team in it. I said, however, tactically, you could think, you could wonder and speculate who you might want. But when the draw was made tonight, I was delighted to find that Everton and Liverpool are on opposite sides of the draw.
Well, hang on a second. Before you go on about Everton and Liverpool, you also said that Southampton were going to win.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
I said I thought Southampton would have a very good fight.
Going to win.
I said...
You said Southampton were going to win.
I didn't say that. What I said was I thought they've got a very good chance.
Why do you always deny saying things that you said?
I said they've got a very good chance because they're very strong at home, and I thought, Koeman had been disappointed with some of his...
Who?
Koeman.
Yeah.
Had been disappointed with some...
like the herb.
Some of the home results this season, particularly the one against Stoke, who are another team left in the competition. Yeah. Therefore, he would want to impose his will.
Do you not remember saying that you thought Southampton would win?
I didn't exactly say Southampton would win.
You did, because I remember saying, I think you'll find that Liverpool under Klopp
anyway,
are now a steamroller, as has been proved correct.
That's all a smokescreen. The thing is,
jinx is well and truly in effect on Southampton.
Listen, it doesn't matter what a fan of what club you are, you have to say Liverpool's performance last night was brilliant. It was stunning. I mean, they absolutely steamrolled Southampton. Yeah. Sturridge is back with
after going one goal down as well.
In 47 seconds. Yeah. That was quite and all Liverpool's goals were very good goals.
They were.
And you see...
And you must be encouraged as an England fan by Sturridge.
Well, absolutely. He looked as though he's right back on form. And also, the way he got into position and the midfielders were working for him, placing balls on his toe. Yeah. They were dropping balls on his toe like you could drop them on a sixpence. They were very Paul Scholes, some of those through balls.
Paul Scholes.
And what I was going to say was...
Paul Scholes.
It takes me back now to the year 84 when Everton and Liverpool met
1984.
1984, yeah, you idiot.
Well, you normally say 1984, you just go back to the year 84.
Well, do you think I was talking about 1884 or 1784, you thickhead?
You might well have been, I don't know.
The point is, we were working in America at the time, and I remember coming into a restaurant to say to you, you won't believe this, Everton and Liverpool are both through to the League Cup final in England. We drew 0-0 in the first game.
I don't remember that at all.
Well, I do. Lost 1-0 in the replay to a Graham Souness goal.
What restaurant were we in then?
Eh?
What restaurant were we in?
Palm 2.
Palm 2?
Which was on 3rd Avenue, you remember?
It was on 2nd, actually.
2nd. They only ever sold steaks.
Well, they sold lamb as well. Lamb chops.
Yeah, but meat then. Meat, you idiot.
Yeah, but meat, it's not just steak, is it?
Eh?
It's not just steak, is it? Meat.
Well, it is meat.
Yeah, no, but if you say they only sold steak, they didn't only sell steak.
Most people who went in there and there for a steak.
I remember,
I
used to always have lamb in there.
You
used to have lamb chops.
Yeah, you have to be
and
different.
Creamed spinach, and lots of really very rude waiters, I seem to remember.
And nice potatoes.
Yeah,
like
potatoes lyonnaise.
No, potato and a jacket I used to have.
Well, baked potato.
Baked potato, that was the stuff, yeah. And do you know why it was called Palm 2?
Because there was a palm already.
Yeah, now everybody thought it was Palm, which was on one side of the road, Palm,
right,
and then Palm 2, number 2.
Yeah.
It wasn't. They did it cleverly. It was Palm, and then when people used to come and say, can I have a table, I said, I'm sorry, we're full.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, but don't worry, go across the road. Why? That's Palm 2. Oh, Palm 2. This is Palm 1, is it? No, this is Palm, and that's Palm 2. T-double-O.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
It was not.
It was
Rubbish.
Palm 2.
No, it wasn't.
What do you think it was?
It was Palm 2 with a number.
It was not. You see, you didn't get it. It was Palm 2.
No, I don't believe you.
It was Palm 2.
I don't think so.
Look it up on your
I
magic
will.
screen.
I'll look it up on my magic screen.
Palm T-O-O.
Anyway, all of this is of no matter to me.
Anyway, the point is, that was
Do you
84.
know why none of this is no matter to me? I've won the lottery.
In Holland.
It's the Holland.
How much have you won?
900,000 euros.
Well, you're a very rich man now.
All I've got to do is get it all
I
translated.
saw the mouse.
All I've got to do is get it translated.
Oh, it's written in Flemish, is it?
Well, some of it is, and I've got to contact Mr. Hans Daniels.
Hans Daniels.
Yeah.
How much you send Mr. Hans Daniels
who's the
before
claims
he sends you the millions?
He's not asking me for any money. He just says, here's the procedure to claim your prize. Please quote your reference number in all correspondence with the claims office.
Yeah.
Indicate your full name, address, country, telephone, mobile, fax number, occupation and age.
And your bank account.
He's not asking for my bank account.
Well, he will in the next.
So I think it must be kosher.
He will ask you for the bank account in the next. I won one in.
The informatie in deze email is vertrouwelijk in Oost-Duitsland voor opstand.
Oh, that's excellent. I won one in Spain once. 36 million euros.
Excellent. Did you collect it?
Well, no, I sent Paul Breen Turner along to the address that was given
and
to
it
go
didn't
collect
exist.
it. No, it was no address. It was it was one of these agencies that issue like cigarette coupons,
oh right,
or something like that.
Oh yeah, one of these dodgy kind of
Yeah.
what do they call those things? That you know those flats, the timeshare types.
Timeshare, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, there you go. No, so what I'm saying is, to all Merseyside fans, Everton and Liverpool, and Tranmere, of course, because they're Merseyside fans.
Yes.
Does this usher in a new era of Merseyside dominance in football? Because if we get together in the League Cup
Well, what
final...
do you mean Merseyside dominance?
Well, what I mean is...
Where are Everton in the league?
Ninth.
And where are Liverpool?
Are they one above us?
They're about 6, aren't they?
Are they 6 or something like that? But anyway, the point of my story is, we went on that year to win the FA Cup.
Well, 9th and 6th is not quite dominant, is it? Yeah.
That was the famous... Well, but Everton weren't dominant in the league that year, but they won the league title the following year. OK, you got me now. You're following my drift,
Not
you
really,
thickhead.
no. I'm feeling a bit woozy tonight, actually.
Why?
I don't know. I think I've got some bug or other.
Have you?
Yeah.
Don't give it to me.
Yeah,
Because
Thanks very much for your
I feel
thoughts.
quite fit, actually.
Do you?
I've been feeling quite tired this week because
Yeah.
I've been doing lots of work, helping to bolster the Two Mikes empire. Because you're too fat and idle to do
That's
anything.
very harsh.
In preparation for our next show in Glasgow.
Anyway, all this talk of dominance is surely a bit premature.
No, it's not, because...
It's premature. First of all, if Manchester City beat Everton, then they're not in the final.
City are not going to beat Everton.
How do you know?
I know that Everton will beat them over 2 legs.
Really?
I think Liverpool will beat Stoke over 2
well
legs.
And truly alive. If you're
I'm
a
looking
Manchester City fan, put a bucket load of money on it.
I'm looking forward to a magnificent, and I mean El Magnifico, League Cup final at Wembley.
You said you didn't want to have a Merseyside derby at Wembley.
I do now.
Oh, now you do. So yesterday you said you didn't, and now today you do.
Yeah,
so
but
what's changed?
Well, what's changed is that the draw has separated the 2 Liverpool clubs, City and Liverpool clubs, that is, so they can only meet in the final. So I want them to meet in the final.
I was saying I thought it would be a great idea for Liverpool and Everton to have a final at Wembley.
Well,
and you basically dismissed my notion and said that you wouldn't like that because it sort of alienates the rest of the country.
I don't think I did.
You don't seem to remember anything you said yesterday.
I think Everton will win the League Cup after beating Manchester City in a 2-legged final and Liverpool in the final.
I can't see it.
Well, I can see it.
Because first of all, I can't see them beating Manchester City. And then second, if they do get the Liverpool in the final, I can't see them beating Liverpool either.
Now, the thing is, the reason I didn't want Liverpool in the semi-final is Liverpool clearly are on a roll, and that roll's going to take him through Christmas into the new year when the...
Well, if Daniel Sturridge stays fit, it will.
Yeah, when the semi-finals of the League Cup take place.
See the time, by the way.
So Liverpool are now in... don't even worry about that. Liverpool are now in better form than Manchester City. Therefore, I'm very wise to say I'm glad we got Manchester City and not Liverpool.
Yeah.
Liverpool might run out of form by the time the final comes round in March.
Yeah.
It is in March, isn't it?
Yes, I believe it is.
It is the end of March, yeah. Now, I'm going to make 2 more sporting predictions before we go any further.
Go on.
Klitschko will beat Tyson Fury in the rematch.
Okay.
That is so blindingly obvious. I don't know why everybody else hasn't cottoned on to that.
Well, a lot of people think it will happen.
Of course it'll happen. Klitschko comes up as confident as anything, puts up a video and says... What he basically said was, I didn't take this man seriously enough in the first fight. I'm going to wallop him in the second fight, which I think will happen.
You may be wrong about that.
And my next prediction is that Gary Neville has taken the first step on a managerial career which will lead to him being the England manager. That is without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt.
At some point or any time in the future?
I would say he'll be the England manager after the next one. I would say the next one will be Alan Pardew, and I say after that it'll be Gary Neville. But Gary Neville will be Mr. Pardew's deputy
That's an
throughout
awful
the
lot
next
of
one.
predictions.
No, it's not a lot of predictions.
It is. That's about 5 predictions.
I've got another prediction as well.
There's no time. Look at
No,
the time.
I've
I
got...
predict that you'll have to stop talking now because we're running out of time.
Oh, OK. Well, the problem is I've got so much to say.
Well, you've got 3 hours to say. Don't worry about it.
What did Rudolph Valentino say? So many women, so little time. What I always
that
say
was
is...
Rudolph Valentino.
What I say is, so much knowledge.
Yeah.
So little time.
So little time. Well, the time has now run out, so your knowledge is of no consequence. This is Talk Sport.
Don't phone your mother. Phone Talk Sports.
Football on DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
Atletico Radio.
Talk Sport.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics, and already there's a huge wave of anti-Porky sentiment flooding in through the Twitter account at
Why?
the two mics.
Why?
Well, I'll just read some of them out to you.
Okay, yeah.
Ashley said, you said you thought Saints would win and said you'd prefer Stoke. You're a total liar. Scott says, Porky forgets what he says. Southampton win last night and now changing his mind once again.
No.
Clueless Porky.
No.
Lewis says, not even 5 minutes in and Porky's lying through his teeth.
I don't lie through my teeth.
Daniel said, Porky said Southampton would beat Liverpool and then he wanted Stoke or Southampton in the semi. What a plank this guy is.
No, I have to adapt to circumstances.
I see.
You can't ignore the facts in life. Can't ignore the
That's
facts.
true. And then
you
here's
have to
one from,
shape and bend and shape your philosophy to the facts.
Yeah, well, some people call that lying. Ian says, if there is a knock at the door of TalkSport, it'll be someone delivering another barrel of Red Bull for Porky.
Oh, yeah, barrel of Red Bull.
By the way, we've got an expert coming on how much caffeine you should drink and the dangers of drinking too much caffeine. And she's got some Red Bull advice for you.
I like that, yeah.
I know you say you've given up drinking Red Bull, but there was that picture of you. There was that picture of you with the lovely Kelly Summers.
Funny you should say that. Now, you've just heard that music, right? That was the famous Formula One introduction music written and played by Fleetwood Mac.
Correct.
What's the name of the track?
I can't remember.
Yeah, you see.
But it comes at the end of the track, doesn't it?
It comes at the end of the track. It comes as a reprise at the end of the track, doesn't it? You know, dum 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 dum.
Do you know what it's called?
No, it's on Rumours, though.
Yeah, it was on Rumours.
On Rumours, yeah.
So you don't know the name of the song?
Well, I do, but I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, you're not going to tell me? Is this your new tactic?
Now then.
I do know, but I'm not going to tell you.
Yes, that's right, yes, yeah. Now then, the reason I brought that up is because of this incredibly dramatic development in the world of Mercedes, where the boss of Mercedes has actually said to Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, the two best drivers in the world at the moment.
Nico Rosberg.
He said, look, unless you guys can get your act together, he's basically said one of them's going to be sacked.
Yeah, and it won't be Hamilton, will it?
Well, will it not? I don't know. Who do you think is the driver in form at the moment?
Well, Rosberg's won a couple of races.
He's won the last 3.
Yeah, but that's because Hamilton's already won the title.
No, but he's won the last 3. You're going to the new season. And the point is, you see, the thing is, Mike, inside that Mercedes team, there's all the suspicions that, a group of mechanics are trying harder for Lewis Hamilton than they are for Rosberg. But at the end of the season, Rosberg's a charmer.
Yeah.
He goes around smiling at people. He's rather,
No, I think you got this completely wrong.
He's rather a nice guy.
I think you got this completely
and they're working
wrong.
for him. No, I haven't. Now, the point
I'll
is...
tell you why I've got it completely wrong.
Why?
It's because this is just a negotiating tactic.
No,
They're just trying to get these guys to behave.
No.
I mean, Lewis Hamilton has always been, and that's why whenever you tell me he's such a great winner and all the rest of it, I'm not and have never been keen on Lewis Hamilton.
Well, he's the Formula One world champion for the second consecutive season.
I don't like his attitude.
3rd title in all.
I don't like his attitude. He's not a team player, and any team that has him in their team is going to have a problem with the other guy.
Well, he's a winner, you see, and you don't know about that. Now, what I was going to say is...
Well, they're not going to fire him, are they?
What I was going to say is...
Are they?
Hang on.
Are they going to fire him?
Let me just...
yes or no?
They might do.
They might do.
If they decide to stick with
What's
Nico
happened to all
Rosberg.
these great Porky predictions
Now,
that you just made?
hang on a
You just
minute.
made 10 predictions that
Hang
are
on a
worthless, right? This is a prediction I want from you.
Because I'm an expert in management techniques, right? I'm an expert in management techniques.
Yes, I've seen your management techniques in action. That's why nobody lets you anywhere near management anymore.
I assume that the management of Talk Sport have similar...
I wouldn't assume anything about the management of Talk Sport if I were you.
Similar reservations about the relationship between you and me.
I'm sure,
Right?
in fact, not only are you correct about that, I'm absolutely certain
I'm
they do.
certain they have,
Yeah.
you see.
Because they have to keep saying to me, are you still keeping that maniac in check?
No, they don't. Now,
can you please stop him from being a maniac?
Now, what I'm thinking is, just like the Mercedes guys are saying, this garage ain't big enough for the both of us.
Yeah.
somebody around here might soon be saying this studio ain't big enough for the both of us.
You might well be right about that.
No.
And that'll be a big shame for you.
No, it'd be a hell of a shame for you. It'd be a hell of a shame for you.
Well, you can still have Clash of the Titans, though.
You
can still do Clash of the Titans.
You spend
Don't
your
worry.
life. You spend your life trying to undermine me and put me down, just
Not
like
at all.
Lewis Hamilton is accused of
Not
doing
at
to
all.
Nico Rosberg.
Absolutely not.
So why are you trying to poison?
If I was in a car race with you, right?
Yes.
It would be.
We're not in a car race.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to make the analogy more easy for you to understand.
Well, why make the analogy down a microphone? We're in a microphone environment.
I am making it down a microphone. That's why I don't have to shout, because the microphone actually augments my voice electronically.
Oh, it augments my voice. Well, something needs to augment your voice.
No, nobody
It sounds
does.
dreadful.
No, it doesn't. It sounds
You sound
all right.
like a broken trumpet, you do.
It really doesn't, no.
Anyway, go
the
on.
point about if we were in a race together,
Yeah.
you would be a typical kind of, Lewis Hamilton type jerk.
Oh, I tried to take your wheels off at the first bend.
Exactly. You would try and damage all the other cars, and you would end up doing what he did for many years, which was to get himself crashing out of races until he learned that actually that was not the best way to go. He's still, I would say, very much of a sort of a selfish, non-team player, and he doesn't care what happens to anybody else. He doesn't support his team. He doesn't support Nico Rosberg. But so he would be exactly like you, and you would be a very selfish racing driver. You would not do it for the team, would you?
That's called the competitive spirit.
No, it's not.
You don't know anything about it. You don't know about winning, Mike. You're
Yeah,
not
I
a
do.
winner. You've
Yeah.
got to be a winner in life.
I've won many things.
You are an averager. That's what you
averager.
are. Yeah. Now,
How about this from Peter? When does the new Merc arrive? The new Merc has arrived, has it?
It has, yes.
How's it going?
Very good.
Is there any
Brilliant. I
smoke
love
coming
it.
out of it yet?
No, I love it. It's 2 doors. It's a coupe.
Coupe?
It is faster.
Have you managed to pick up any women yet
It's
as a
fast.
result of having it? Have you waved the keys at anyone?
It's almost faster than the speed of light, believe it or not.
No, I don't think it is.
Well, sound then. But it's,
I don't think it's faster than the speed of sound either.
it's a very impressive car. I've had a few admiring glances
Have you?
from females close to me, yes. Now then, what I was going to say was...
Unbelievable.
Now, you take the competitive situation between you and I, right?
Yeah.
Why
I don't see myself as being in competition with you. See, the difference between you and I is that I don't see myself in competition with
Well,
you.
hang on. Why do you then...
You think you're in competition with me.
Why have you then tried to destroy my reputation?
I have not.
From the good charity
not.
work I did at Bournemouth.
I have not tried to destroy
You
your
sure?
reputation. How have I said that your charitable donation was a very decent thing to do.
You're going round...
I've made that very clear. However... It has to be said that you did go onto the pitch at the beginning of the game when you told me you were going to go on at half-time. So there was nobody there. There was very clear evidence, as people are still making remarks on Twitter about, that you snatched the microphone back off that nice girl, Kelly Summers, when she was trying to wrap everything up.
Utter
due
rubbish.
to your complete and utter narcissism and need for attention at every single moment of
This
the
is
time
utter
that you're
rubbish
anywhere near a
again, you see.
microphone.
Utter rubbish.
And that's nothing to do with... That's not destroying your reputation.
Yes,
All that
it
is just telling the
Yes,
truth.
it is. You can't
telling
stand
the truth.
You can't stand me being in a superior position in this relationship.
I couldn't
can
care
you?
less where you are, as long as you're not in the same room as me most of the time.
Well, I have to be in the same studios
I
to
know.
work with you. But I mean, let's
Sure,
face
there's
it,
no way
Mike.
around that.
Let's face it. One of the reasons I've got backache is I've been carrying you for the last 5 years in this studio.
I thought
okay?
you had it
Hey?
from a congenital disease that you had as a child.
Well, it is a congenital disease. It's called dilated cardiomyopathy.
Oh, yeah.
Only 1/3 of my heart works,
Yeah,
pal. You
I've
should
heard
remember that, right?
I've heard that.
And what
Although our friend who keeps sending us messages
Yes.
says that that's a complete load of old cobblers
No,
as well.
no.
He says that if you were 33%, whatever your EF signal was or
Yes.
something like that, if it was really 33%, you wouldn't be able to do anything.
You'd
be breathless all the time.
I just want to point something out to you, right?
Yes.
And I don't wish to be cruel or unkind,
Yeah.
but the audience have a very affectionate view of me.
You think?
Yes. The audience believe that
Well, a lot
I
of people
am...
calling you a liar at the moment.
No. The audience believe that I am the spirit of this show. They believe that I am the conscience of this show.
You say
They
you drink
believe-
most of the spirits, that's true.
They believe that I am the law.
conscience.
The law.
No, you see, this is all your own self-delusion.
The law of...
The law.
What am I trying to say?
I don't know what you're trying to say.
The law of the properness of this show.
Uh-huh.
You see what I mean?
I see.
Whereas they don't really see you offering very much in terms of the culture of our production. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, you like to be out.
What do you
like
offer
to be,
culturally?
You like to be out there as the guy that sort of takes all the credit for everything, right? And I'm quite happy for you to do that because I, in my own self, am very confident. I, in my own self, am very self-assured.
Yes.
I don't need the sort of paltry recognition or the sort of rather vacuous kind of applause that you seek every single minute of your life because you need to be validated by other people. I don't. So you carry on and be the conscience of the show. You carry on and be the talent of the show.
Yes.
You carry on and be the one that you think everybody wants to listen to. Because if you really believe that, then there's a straitjacket around the corner you can just dress dressed yourself up in.
Well, let me just give a small example to our millions of listeners, okay?
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm delighted to say that we've gone into overdrive in production for the Two Mics live
Gone into
DVD.
overdrive?
Overdrive.
What does that mean?
Well, we've had to bring in a night shift to produce them.
Why do you say these things? Why do you have to give away the secrets of what we do?
Well, I don't
because
want
again, you want to try and get, self-aggrandise.
No, this is relevant to what I'm saying.
Why is it relevant?
Because if you look at the front cover of the Two Mics live DVD,
Yeah.
I have, because I felt that you were feeling neglected, I've let you push your fat, four-eyed face to the fore of the cover, okay?
You've let me do that.
And I have stood slightly
I
back.
think it's
Do you not agree?
No, I think you've realised that if you were the bigger face on the front of the cover, it might actually put people off buying.
No. Do you not agree?
On the grounds you're so ugly.
I allowed you to take a forward step.
You don't allow
there
me to do anything.
when that picture was taken. And
it's my picture, actually.
And what's more, when we put the caption on the top, the Two Mics live DVD, starring, I allowed your name to go first,
You didn't
Mike
allow
Graham,
my name to go first at all.
and underneath Mike Parry. Do you know why I did that?
I don't know.
Because
it must have been a mistake.
No, it's the Lennon-McCartney complex. Paul McCartney's had a complex all his life that his name came second in the Lennon-McCartney songwriting team.
Well, it's also alphabetical, isn't it?
And I didn't want you...
It's alphabetical.
No. I did not...
Graham and Parry. Graham comes first in the alphabet.
I did not... No, M and M are the same. I did not want you to feel, like a lowly figure in this relationship.
So I don't feel like that.
So I tried to boost your confidence by allowing you to do that.
I don't feel like that.
So don't tell me that I'm striding forward to be the dominant person in this.
Well, you've just told me that you just told me that that's what you think you are.
Well, I mean, it's not what I think I am. It's what I know I am. It's what the audience know I am. But because I have a kind heart, allowed you to take a little bit more of the credit for the Two Mics live than you really should have done, okay?
Do you think anybody's interested in any of this drivel?
I think they are.
I think they're far more interested in what you've got to say about Phil Neville, about Gary Neville.
Yes.
I mean, that's another one, right? You produced Phil Neville as a winner at the weekend because he was going to be the interim manager of Valencia. I think you got the wrong brother.
I'll tell you something about Gary Neville.
I'll
tell you about something about Gary Neville.
Tell me about it later.
I'll tell you about it now.
We haven't got time now.
Right, well, I'll tell you about it very soon.
So much drivel about how you're the dominant.
Every time I've got a relevant point, you point to the old clock.
You've just been 10 minutes.
Have you seen the time?
You've just spent 10 minutes talking about yourself.
You're a Time Lord. You're Doctor Who.
I'm not a Time Lord, but I'm obviously the dominant partner here because it's now time for you to shut up.
I think
this is Talk Sport.
Dr. Dopey.
Talk Sport.
And it's in!
A diving header at the end of a 50-yard run.
From the root to the tip.
Talk Sport.
Ese amor llega sin esta manera, no tiene la culpa. Caballo le dan sabana, porque muy despreciado, por eso.
A nice little bit of Spanish music for you there, Mr. Parry.
Yeah, what's that about? What's that about?
Well, that's actually the Gypsy Kings, who are not technically Spanish. But
Gypsy Kings are French.
Bamboleo, yeah. Well, I've told you that before. You've actually retained some information.
Yeah, Gypsy... No, I knew that because I took an ex-girlfriend to see the Gypsy Kings.
An ex-girlfriend?
Yeah,
Where did she leave you after you took her to see the Gypsy Kings?
No, it was her favourite group. It wasn't my favourite group. She loved them.
I'm amazed that you've even heard of them.
And,
well, that was Bamboleo.
I'm trying to think where it was at. It was at... where would it be? Like, sort of...
I don't know. Marseille?
No, you fool. It was in London somewhere, but I can't remember. Anyway.
Okay. Well, I don't know where you go with people. How would I know?
I found them a bit repetitive, actually. I mean, all this guitar stuff, all this acoustic guitar stuff, it's all right for a couple of tracks, but after that, it all starts sounding the same to me. No, it does. And they do sound like,
They're great. I love them.
A bunch of guys sitting on a barrel in a field, strumming a guitar. You know what I mean?
I think they're very good. Now, how about this from Graham? I've got loads and loads of people tweeting in saying things which are not particularly praiseworthy of you.
Really?
But I'll get to those later.
Like what?
But I'll get to them later.
Okay.
Graham says, Porky reminds me of the crazy people you find in parks shouting at pigeons with his rants.
What? Listen, excuse me. If there is a point to be made, it must be made with precision.
Yeah.
It must be made with purpose.
Yeah.
It's like tackling somebody in a game of football, OK?
Mal says, what planet are you on, Porky? Again, you're
Precision,
using the arrogance
purpose.
of ignorance to justify yourself. MG is the master of the show.
Oh,
Zobon says,
show.
Did Porky,
tell you what, it's not much hope for this show.
Did Porky take his meds today? He's talking rubbish about he's the spirit of the show. Someone call the guys in the white coats.
I don't think so. Do you know what I was going to say?
There's a lot more, heavier ones than that, which I won't read.
I mean, they're the ne'er-do-gooders, to be honest. Now, there are millions of people out there who support what I do because they know I do it with the greatest of intentions. Now, what was I going to say about Gary Neville was this.
We've got Tommy Smith to talk to now.
Yeah, we will in a sec. Just want to say one thing before we talk to Tommy Smith, OK? If Gary Neville decided he wanted to become the next Dalai Lama, he'd get there. He'd do it. He'd be off to Ulaanbaatar tomorrow, and he would, I'm telling you, read the scriptures and he'd become the Dalai Lama.
Wouldn't he want to go to Nepal for that?
Anything, or Nepal, anything Gary Neville wants to do, he's going to succeed. He's a most remarkable man.
Yeah.
His ambition...
Well, we'll see, because this is the first
focused.
thing... Hang on, this is the first thing he's had to do in football, which is going to be a true test.
His ambition is absolutely focused.
Let's find out from Tommy what he makes of it.
And he's a successful...
That's enough out of you. That's enough out of you. Tommy.
And a most successful individual.
Tommy, okay. I'm very sorry to keep you waiting. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you, Mike.
Now, I know that you're a man that doesn't mind a bit of argy-bargy on the radio, so please don't worry about Mr. Parry interrupting you. I don't believe that Gary Neville is successful at everything he does, because I don't think yet he's had any great challenge. Do you?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he's been a football player which was reasonably successful, and
well,
I
83 caps for England, Tommy. 83 caps for England.
That's reasonably successful.
2 Champions League trophies, 6 Premier League trophies, 3 FA Cups.
He didn't do it on his own.
Wait a minute, Mike.
I think that's a bit more than just reasonably successful, pal.
So what about the other guys who played with him? Are they not just as successful as he was?
Yes, but you wouldn't be in that team if you weren't a very good footballer.
Right, but there was 10 other guys with him on the field all the time, and there was a whole squad. So they have to be considered as successful as Neville was.
Yes,
so
I agree.
Why is he any more successful than they were?
Well, hang on, there were 19 other teams with 11 players on the field every time, and they didn't win the Premier League in the seasons United did. They were unsuccessful. So let's give credit to those who were successful.
Right, that's what I said. So don't just single out Gary Neville and say he was the one.
No, that's what I said.
Exactly right. But having said that he was a successful footballer, yes, we know all that, and many people are successful footballers, but they don't necessarily then go on to be successful at everything else they do. And now that he's going to go into management properly, Tommy, which is something that took everybody by great surprise. Nobody expected this to happen. He's going to go and work in a place in Spain which is completely dominated by 3 teams. The best chance he's got is to get into maybe 4th place. I mean, what's he doing it for?
Well, I'm not sure, but apparently I'm told he is very good friends with the owner of Valencia, and I think he made one good decision already. He certainly did make one good decision because they're playing Barcelona on the weekend, and he said no, he won't take up managing until after the weekend. So that's the first thing he did is a good decision.
It's not what you call a particularly courageous decision, is it? I mean, it's amazing how many managers now do that. They take over a club and they go, yeah, but, the first game was a bit tough. I think I'll just sit in the stands for that one.
Fellas, excuse me. He needs time to prepare for the game. And remember, his future assistant and his current brother is in charge of the team at the moment. He's not going to suddenly come in and sweep him aside.
Who's his current brother?
Philip Neville.
Is he not his brother all the time?
Well, he has been his brother all his life, actually. But, I mean, he's not going to suddenly sweep him aside and say, right, I'm taking over now. It doesn't work like that in management, OK?
Well, not when you play Barcelona, it doesn't.
No.
He's going to let his brother take the fall.
The one question I have is, does he speak any Spanish? I mean, that is a problem. No, everybody talks about when you take over a team in a foreign country, things get lost. You can have all the interpreters you want. Yeah. The interpreter says something, things get lost in it. We all know that. Sometimes it just doesn't come out right. We've seen many people make fools of themselves, and I think that's always a stumbling block, isn't it?
We have, I totally agree. Mike Graham makes a fool of himself most nights on this show, Tommy, but we'll gloss over that one and just keep talking about the football.
I'm not even going to dignify that with an answer.
Now, the point is, Tommy, what I want you to do is analyse this, please. Gary Neville was the best pundit Sky have ever had. We know that because a story's emerged tonight saying they offered him £15 million on a 5-year deal to stay because he was so good. Now, if you're a great analyst, it means to me you can become a great football manager and coach because you read the game so well. What do you think of that?
Well, then I might qualify for being a manager if that's the case, because I consider myself a pretty good analyst. I've done 24 years with one of the biggest stations in the world, ESPN, and I'm still there. So does that qualify me to become a manager?
Well, maybe one of these days, Tommy. But what I'm saying is that it is sometimes difficult.
Well, no, I mean, they've had, 15 managers in the last 10 years at Valencia?
No, in 15 years. They've had 15 managers in 15 years.
You've got a good chance of getting down at Valencia.
It is always very difficult to predict that a great player will become a great manager. In fact, it rarely happens. Brian Robson got close, but didn't quite make it. Roy Keane got close, didn't quite make it.
Didn't quite make it?
Yeah, I think...
Roy Keane didn't get anywhere near it.
Roy Keane got Sunderland into a position where they got him promoted into the Premier League.
He was never a good manager.
Well, he had a successful couple of seasons. What I'm saying is, Tommy, I think Gary Neville could break the mould. He will eventually end up as England manager if he wants it, won't he?
Yeah, he probably will, but I find the problem with good players going to become managers is that they expect the players that's playing on the team to be fit to play as good as they were. I mean, Mourinho wasn't a good player. Arsene Wenger wasn't a good player. Alex Ferguson wasn't a good player. But I'll tell you one thing, they made fantastic managers.
Of course
Jack
they did.
Charlton wasn't. He was a pretty decent player, but he made a fantastic manager.
He won the World Cup. He won the World Cup. I mean, that's not a bad start in life, you know.
Yeah,
when
but
you
I mean,
become a manager.
as a rule, really good players don't make good managers because they expect too much from the players, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think there's a certain truth to that.
Have a listen to what Roy Keane said about Gary Neville when he was made England coach in 2012.
Yeah.
Gary can talk, but don't think for 1 minute he was as influential in the dressing room as people might think he was. Gary would say his piece, but he wasn't running the show. Far from it.
Well, I don't believe that, actually. And
That's what Roy Keane said.
Roy Keane often has an axe to grind when he talks about other players.
Roy Keane knows a lot more about Gary Neville than you do.
Now, Tommy, I want you to comment on this for us, please. There is speculation in some of tomorrow morning's papers that this is a temporary appointment for Gary Neville to cut his teeth in management, and that the real target for Valencia is, believe it or not, Jose Mourinho. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's very feasible. The way Chelsea have gone this year, with all the trouble that Mourinho has got himself into between fines, not getting on with the doctors, not getting on with the players. I mean, now he has a couple of the players really mad at him. I mean, this could very, very well happen, because I've already taken 11-4 that Jose doesn't see the end of the season, and that he's out after this season at the very least.
And he might go back to Real Madrid, though. I mean, he was given a choice between Real Madrid and Valencia. He's going to go to Real Madrid, isn't he?
I would think so.
Yeah, you'd imagine he would, but I mean, does he go back to Real Madrid to prove something, or does he go to Valencia and say, okay, here's a team that I can take and I can show them that I can do what I'm supposed to be able to do? I mean, this could be a challenge for him.
Yeah, it could be a challenge indeed.
Absolutely right. Now let's talk about
challenge, Tommy.
Let's talk about Jurgen Klopp, because Jurgen Klopp seems to be working some magic at Liverpool, doesn't he? After that result last night.
Well, I tell you one thing: if Liverpool keep finishing like they did last night, they will rip any team apart. I mean, that's as good a performance as I've seen from Liverpool since Stevie Nicol hung up his boots. You know, that was unbelievable last night, and I mean, you wonder if they can do it again. I mean, they really didn't show us last weekend that they could do it, but maybe this man, maybe he can work some magic. But if that magic continues, I mean, Liverpool are going to be a huge force. They're not going to win the championship, I think, because they've left it too late. But by next year, if he buys a few players, remember, this is still Brendan Rodgers' team that Klopp is dealing with. He hasn't brought in any of his own choices that will influence the team, and he's really done a job with turning Brendan Rodgers' players around and making some of them look like they're really world class. That he's done an amazing job. I'm just wondering, is it one of those bounces you get after you get a new manager and all the talk? But can he keep it up? That'll be the question.
Well, he's also had a stroke of luck, hasn't he? Because he's got Sturridge back, right? So that is like having a new player. And the other lad who scored the hat-trick tonight, what was his name? Origi. I mean, he was nobody under Brendan Rodgers.
Well, he could barely get in the team. Well, they bought him and then they loaned him back to his team, didn't they?
Exactly. And again, he's pulled him forward and spotted him. So I think you've got to give Klopp some credit for actually getting the best out of players who looked a bit dysfunctional under Brendan Rodgers.
Well, I think that's what Tommy's just done, isn't it?
That's what I've just said. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I said too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but Tommy said it first. The trouble is with Porky, if you don't get just the balance of Red Bull and coffee just right, you know, his memory fails him.
I don't think so.
But let's talk about Everton, because that's Porky's team.
Oh, yes.
And he seems to think that we're now going into a period of, he's just said, Merseyside dominance of football. What he seems to forget is that there's 4 London clubs above Everton and Liverpool in the Premier League. So what do you say?
Well, I mean, Everton didn't close it out on the weekend. I mean, they were my banker on the weekend, and I was sitting looking at the game, and I said to myself, well, I'm going to collect on this, and then all of a sudden, you know, and you know, if you're an Everton fan, it was just something I took out of it. You know, the Everton fans went out on the field. It was like the Barcelona fans had won the Champions League. What were the Everton fans doing on the field after they scored a goal that put them in front of Bournemouth?
Complete idiots.
Absolutely. And not alone that. I mean, they got penalised, and in getting penalised, the referee added on about 2.5 minutes, and in those 2.5 minutes, Bournemouth came back and scored, and Liverpool ended up with a draw. I mean, Everton ended up with a draw.
They were elated because we thought the game had gone 2-0 to 2-2.
Yeah, that shows you shouldn't jump too soon.
Then we'd won it 3-2, and then we jumped to conclusions. But I do object seriously, fellas, to you branding Everton fans idiots. They're not idiots.
No, I didn't say that. I said the people.
Even Everton fans on that afternoon were saying, name and shame these guys and ban them from travelling.
They got carried away by the
especially the guy in the white shirt.
The emotion of the occasion. And what about this, Tom? What about this? I was down at Bournemouth, right? There was a lad there who'd come all the way from Liverpool to that game in Bournemouth. That's one of the longest journeys in the football season. He was going back home. He's going to do a day's work. And then on Tuesday, he was taking the day off to go up to Middlesbrough, the other end of the country, to follow Everton in the League Cup. That's the sort of fans Everton have. They're not idiots, believe me.
Yeah, I didn't say they were idiots. I said the guys who invaded the field were. There is no place. Listen, Mike. Yes. There is no place for fans on the field while the game is going on.
True.
It doesn't matter who they are.
Yeah, you can't justify that.
Well, the game wasn't going on, was it? It stopped.
Of course it was.
Scored.
Oh, so you're now defending what they did?
I'm not defending.
Because Everton Football Club want to know who they are, and Everton Football Club are going to out them and stop them from travelling.
I am not defending the invasion of the pitch.
Absolutely. As long as we're clear on that.
Absolutely.
Tommy, as ever, thank you very much indeed. My apologies for the constant interruptions, but I know you're used to it.
And before I leave, I just have to say that I'm in a country tonight which is numb with the mass killings that has happened here. I know it has nothing to do with sport, but I would be very remiss if I got off the air and didn't say condolences to everybody that was involved.
Have they got any idea yet who these characters were? Because the last I heard, they were still on the run.
They have got two of them. They've killed two of them, apparently, and there's a very active search going on, house to house, looking for the third guy. But they got the two guys. I mean, amazingly, these guys committed 14 murders, and within 4.5 hours, they were only a mile away from where they committed the murders. I mean, the mentality, I don't know. I just don't understand it.
It is absolutely shocking, and we endorse your condolences, Tommy. Thank you very much
Tommy,
indeed.
thanks very much indeed. Yeah, we'll keep you updated on that, of course.
Indeed.
The Chief of San Bernardino Police Department is currently talking on Sky, and we believe the third person may have been detained, so hopefully they've got everybody. We've got lots more to talk about coming up, of course, on TalkSport.
This unmissable offer on a brand new Mercedes-Benz E-Class might just remind you of the other things in life you really shouldn't miss, like your departure time.
This is the final call.
The first school play. Or your team's winning goal. So don't miss this opportunity to get hold of a Mercedes-Benz E-Class for only £349 a month. Search Mercedes-Benz offers to find out more. Unmissable offers from Mercedes-Benz.
Business users only on an E220 BlueTech SE Saloon 36-month Mercedes-Benz contract hire. £349 per month. Advance payment £1,047. All payments exclude VAT at 20%. Conditions apply. Credit approvals by the 31st of December. 10,000 miles per annum. No ownership option.
Excitement is brewing with 2 for £20 on selected beer and cider at Asda, including Foster's, Carling and Strongbow 20-packs. Because it's Christmas. Asda. Save money, live better. Selected stores, lines and availability. Individually priced £12, max 6 per customer. Over 18s only. Drink aware. Offer excludes Scotland.
Everyone knows that all the best things come in threes. 3 Amigos, 3 Stooges, 3 Lions. And right now, if you sign up to 888 Sport, you'll get treble the odds on your first bet. Join 888 Sport and harness the power of 3 with treble the odds on your first bet. New customers only. Minimum £5 bet to qualify. Maximum £10 bet at treble odds. Bet at normal odds. Extra winnings added within 72 hours. Extra winnings paid in cash. Maximum extra winnings capped at £5,000. See site for full T's and C's. 18 plus.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast on Talk Sport with the Ford Ranger. It's the breakfast show that doesn't compromise on delivering the biggest names from the world of sport.
Join me from 6 o'clock on the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast.
Cramming more into 4 hours every morning than you thought possible. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast. Weekday mornings from 6 on Talk Sport with the Ford Ranger. Ruthlessly tested across the harshest terrain on earth. Find out more at ford.co.uk. Talk Sport. Radio willing to run till it drops.
Yes.
Talk Sport.
It's a mystery to me. The game commences for the usual fee, plus expenses, confidential information.
This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mites. There will be a podcast coming out a little bit later on. Of course, there will also be Porkyvision tonight, which is the finest TV review you've ever heard, I think. Never mind this side
As
of
I said in my tweet earlier,
elsewhere.
This side of Knotty Ash.
Yes, I noticed you've started using this side of, which is, of course, my invention. So you've now stolen that as well.
No, it wasn't. I said this side of Ulaanbaatar or this side of Knotty Ash.
I started doing it first. You've never had an original idea in your head.
I did this side of Cincinnati when we had a row about Cincinnati.
Yeah, no, but I've been doing the whole thing about this side
who was that in that
for
record?
a very long time. That was Dire Straits. Mark Knopfler.
It didn't sound like Dire Straits.
Private Investigations.
When I
it didn't sound like Dire Straits.
I mean, when I think of Dire
Straits, you ever heard any Dire Straits music?
When I think of Dire Straits, I think of money is for nothing and
money
your
is for nothing.
Free.
That's money for nothing.
I want to see your microwave oven. You know what?
It's not. I want to see your microwave oven.
Yeah, but anyway, listen. That came out in the 80s, right? Where nobody in this country had ever seen MTV except you and me, because we lived over there.
Well, lots of people in America had seen MTV.
Well, that's exactly right, but not in this country, you idiot. And Dire Straits are actually a British band from the northeast of England.
Indeed, they are.
So when we came back, I remember I was back that summer for a couple of weeks or something, and everybody said, "Oh yeah," and there's a fantastic opening riff to that "Money Is for Nothing," isn't it? Where the guitar string goes
for nothing.
high.
It's not "Money Is for Nothing."
Yeah, "Money for Nothing," and the guitar riff goes higher and higher and higher, doesn't it? You know,
is that technical term? That
well, I don't know what it is.
Guitar riff.
Yeah, well, it does. It goes higher, and then they start singing the song, and then they go, "Money is for nothing."
It's not money is
for
nothing.
Free.
It's money for nothing.
Okay, money for nothing, your chicks for free, and then it goes on about microwave ovens, and then the rhyming word.
Our friend Mickey Brennan's wife, who was from Costa Rica, used to think the line was money for nothing and your chickens for free.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, if she's from Costa Rica, so she would.
Yeah. Well, you've got no excuse though, have you, for getting the word
And then
wrong.
the rhyming word to chicks for free was MTV.
Yeah.
And everybody was asking.
Do you know who sang "I Want My MTV" at the end of the song?
Who?
You don't know, do you?
I'm asking you who.
Well, I'm asking you.
And I've said who?
Do you know at the end of the song where you hear a high voice going, I want my yeah. You don't know who that is?
I want my MTV.
It was Sting.
Sting, that's right, it was Sting.
What do you mean that's right?
Because he's from the northeast, he's a mate of Mark Knopfler's.
That's not why he did it.
Do you know Sting used to be a milkman?
Yeah, he used to be a school teacher, actually.
What?
He was a school
teacher. But he was a milkman as well.
Was he?
Yeah, definitely.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Right.
Now then, what I was going to say is the reason we played that is...
Do you know why they called Sting?
Yes, because he used to wear a jumper which was black and yellow hoops.
Yeah, like a bee.
Yeah, like a bee. That's right, absolutely. Right, now then, unfortunately, a poor chap called Paul King has died.
What?
Paul King was the promoter of Dire Straits.
Well, is that why you wanted to play a Dire Straits song?
No, because he had a very checkered life, Mr. King.
Oh, yeah.
For instance, he was a chemical student at Brunei University.
Chemical student?
Yeah, chemistry student, OK.
Not one of the chemical brothers.
No, you idiot. He studied chemistry at Brunei University.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no, it wasn't Brunei. It was Brunel. Brunel University.
Brunei University.
No, Brunel.
Is in Brunei.
That's right.
With the
yeah.
Sultan.
Sorry.
Maybe that's why they did Sultans of Swing.
No,
the Sultans of Brunei.
Could have been. No, it was at Brunel, which is in the Midlands.
Dear God.
Do you know the Students' Union Bar in Brunel University?
Brunel is not in the Midlands, by the way.
It
is not. It's in North London.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's
not.
in Uxbridge.
It's not.
It is in Uxbridge.
It's in the Midlands.
You're talking absolute poppycock.
Because it's famous for sporting achievements, isn't it?
Brunel?
Brunel.
Not particularly.
Oh, no, it's Loughborough. Sorry, I'm getting confused. I'm getting confused. Brunel, OK. Right.
Brunel and Loughborough don't even sound similar.
All right, Brunel University, I'll take your word for it. Now, what he used to do is he used to book
they merged with Westfield College, and I know that because Westfield College used to be down the road from where I lived in Hampstead.
Oh, I see. Right.
But it got moved to the Brunel University campus in Uxbridge.
That's very uninteresting.
You don't know anything, do you?
So
do you
anyway,
know anything?
Yeah, just listen.
Right.
So he books the Students' Union acts, OK, and all of a sudden all these bands are turning up. You used to do that.
I used to do that, yeah. We booked the police for 50 quid.
Booked the police for 50
I'm not
quid.
joking.
Why didn't you become the police's manager?
And then by the time the police came and played, they were at number one with whatever their first single was.
It would have been...
I think it might have been Roxanne or something.
No, I think it was Message in a Bottle.
No, Message in a Bottle was later.
No, it was Message in a Bottle.
Really?
Definitely.
I can't remember.
Message in a Bottle
anyway,
was definitely...
all I remember is that they were the support act.
A message
they were the support act.
Bottle.
They were the support act, right, to a band called Albertos y los Trios Paranoias.
Oh, how did they get on then? Where did they get to?
They were snuff rock. They disappeared about a week later.
I bet they did, yeah. Well, why did, you should have become police's manager.
I should have become
that. Then you'd be a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, well, I've told you before I had various flirtations with the music business, which I should have taken up.
But anyway, listen, this guy, Paul King, right? So he goes on from Brunel University.
Yeah.
And what he does is he becomes a great rock impresario.
Okay.
So, for instance, his greatest triumph in 1990, when he was promoter of the Live at Nebworth show, he rang up Pink Floyd, Paul McCartney, Eric Clapton and Elton John, got them all to appear, sold 120,000 tickets, raised more than £6 million, and gave it all to the Nordoff Robbins Music Therapy Charity.
Our friend Donald, who's up in the garage, is very heavily involved with them.
Is he? Really? Is that a well-known musical charity?
He's their representative in Scotland,
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. OK. The problem was that he gave them too much money. He didn't take out even the expenses for the show and all that kind of stuff.
That was a bit unwise.
He went bankrupt, right? It's a really colourful story. To the tune of £1 million. Right. I mean, he didn't, you know what I mean is, you know, he gave all the money away and then he found, hang on, I haven't paid for the venue and all that kind of stuff, you know. Yeah. And then kind of went off the scene. However, he reappeared, but unfortunately, he got it all wrong.
But this was in 1989, you say?
That was...
Because presumably if he was Dire Straits' manager, he must have been involved with them from the 70s, because that was when they started.
Dire Straits, didn't they? Started in the early 80s.
No, they started in the late 70s.
Oh, right, late 70s, early 80s.
No, their first album, you know, with Down at the Waterline and all that stuff on it.
Yes.
You know, and Sultans of Swing. That was very much 1977, 78.
OK, anyway, now during his years at the top, he had the rock and roll lifestyle absolutely made. He was hedonistic to the extent that nobody else could match him.
Right.
And in between excessive partying, he drove a Bentley.
Yeah.
He rode a Harley Davidson.
You haven't mentioned Dire Straits yet.
Well, no, I mean, he was...
When was he involved with Dire Straits, then?
He promoted their tour. He promoted their nationwide tour.
When?
Let me see. When was it? Let me see. It was...
you don't know, do you?
Yes, I do know. 87.
87. So he was a tour promoter for them later on.
Tour promoter for them later on, yeah. Now then, the problem was, it all went a bit wrong when he suddenly became like a heroin addict. And an alcoholic.
Right.
So he...
Why do all your stories that you laugh at involve people who have become alcoholics?
I don't know.
I suspect there's some kind of bizarre pattern of projection going on here.
Anyway, he then, unfortunately, got all his figures wrong and was convicted of fraud and sentenced to 3.5 years in prison.
Oh, dear.
When
was this, then? In the 90s?
Yeah, no, this was in the late 80s.
Okay.
Early 90s. And what happened was, because of his lifestyle, he went around telling everybody he'd invented a cure for hangovers.
Oh, yeah.
So all these people gave him all this money, you know, like, it was like a Ponzi thing, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But he didn't have a cure for hangovers. He just told people he did. When it was found out he didn't, he was done for fraud. And
when you say he's a colourful character, he's actually a criminal, is what you say.
Well,
I mean, that's not really a colourful character, is it?
He's a heroin addict, an alcoholic. Yeah. He's a criminal. He's a fraud. He went to jail.
Right.
He
managed... He been bankrupt.
He managed...
And he ran one tour for Dire Straits.
Well, it looks like it.
By the way you were sort of setting this story up, you thought you were going to tell me this guy was associated with Dire Straits since the beginning of their career.
But actually, he saw the light at the end because... his reformation in jail, where he was rehabilitated, so successful that during the final months of his sentence at Standford Hill Open Prison, which is on the Isle of Sheppey, which is not a good place to be exiled
to. It's not in Standford Hill, then?
Eh?
Is it not in Stamford Hill?
No. Standford, S-T-A-N-D, not Stamford. Stamford Hill.
Stamford Hill.
No, open prison. The Isle of Sheppey. Isle of Sheppey's grim.
It is grim. I've been there, I went there by accident once.
Yeah, I went there.
Found myself there for some reason. I took a wrong turning.
I went there for a job. There was
Did you?
Yeah, there was a steelworks there, and it was during the steel strike in the
yeah, it is, as 80s. You say, grim.
But anyway, he was asked to assist with introducing a programme advising new inmates on how to gain the maximum benefit from their time in custody. So he became, a really trusted internee. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he's an interesting character, but, I mean, I'm not sure that you should be holding him up as some, massive, rock god.
Well, no. What happened was then, he then got cancer, sadly. And I'm afraid he died after 4 years of battling cancer. He didn't manage to beat that one. Yeah. However, nevertheless, he was well known to many, many rock stars, and he will be sadly missed by many.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
Yeah, so there you go. Now, you didn't know about him, did you?
I've never heard of him.
I told you about him.
Never heard of him. Sean says this. Sting wasn't a milkman, his father was. Another false statement from the Porkmeister.
OK, son of a milkman, then.
Son of a milkman. And here's one from...
Could have been Ernie. Son of Ernie.
Gary the milkman says, hi, guys, Sting's dad was a milkman. Yeah. And he says, great show, P.S. so was Sean Connery. Yeah, we know that.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Have you got any other famous milkman you want to talk about?
Sean Connery was also Mr. Universe, wasn't he?
Hey?
Sean Connery was Mr. Universe.
I think he might have been, yeah.
He was, yeah. No, he was, yeah. He was definitely. When he had hair.
Yeah, we've been inspecting you, Mr. Universe.
He went bald very young, didn't he, Sean Connery?
Did he?
You know, in all Bond films,
you went bald pretty young as well.
Did he wear a toupee in all those Bond films?
In the Bond films?
Where it was all action?
No, I don't think so.
Didn't he?
Because he was in the water and out of the water quite a lot. I don't think they had toupees that stayed on in those days, did they?
Maybe he had a waterproof one.
Maybe he had a toupee double.
Yeah, a toupee double or something like that.
Here's one from Thomas who says, Neville will break the Madrid-Barca stronghold in Spain like Fergie broke the old firm in Scotland, and then he will take over United. However, New Rule says, I agree with MG here that Neville hasn't really achieved anything much other than at United. I think leaving Sky is a mistake.
Well, I don't, because I think that whatever Gary Neville turns his hand to, he succeeds. I mean, he's a very successful property developer.
You say that.
He's a very
it's easy to be a successful property
pundit.
developer and a multi-millionaire.
He's a very successful coach with England. You ask anybody in the England setup, and they'll say,
what do you mean successful?
He's brilliant.
What have England won?
Sorry?
Have they won anything?
Well, they'd have been a lot poorer without Gary Neville.
Well, a lot poorer. So what, they would have got out of the World Cup even sooner than having lost the first 2 games?
I believe that could be
true.
true.
You couldn't go out any sooner than that.
I believe that
Rubbish.
could be true, really.
Absolute cobblers.
Yeah, believe me.
Here's one from Sean, who says, old MG is the main presenter. The anchorman Porky is a part-time sidekick who believes in ghost rogerisation and horse wing mirrors.
It's just because I bring you the news as it happens, that's all.
Yeah,
I go in depth.
Just pipe down for a moment.
I'm in depth. I'm not superficial. There's nothing superficial about me.
No, there's nothing superficial about you. You pop up for everything. This is Talk Sport.
On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
A terrific performance.
Turn of pace and eye for goal.
Shout about it.
Talk Sport.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics. It's Porkyvision night tonight, of course, as well. So we'll be getting stuck into some of the big TV shows that you might want to miss or you might want to watch. And, of course, there'll be a podcast coming out a little bit later on this morning. We've got lots more texts and tweets to read out, which I should probably do right now because otherwise we'll
before we
lose track of them.
Before we do that,
Yeah,
I've got to point out to you an historical development.
Yes.
And that is that a new picture has been found of Henry VIII.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? Everybody I've shown it to so far says that could be your dad.
Everyone you've shown it to?
Yeah, honestly.
What, you mean they all knew your dad?
Yeah, people who knew my dad.
All right.
Like my mother.
All right. So you've shown it to her?
Yeah, and she said, oh, that could be your dad.
Really?
Yeah, and the thing is, they're right, it could be. And it's an amazing new picture.
So what?
Well, what I'm saying is...
So what?
Remember this. My school, the King's School Chester, was founded in 1548 by Henry VIII.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you might have mentioned that.
Hey?
I think you might have mentioned that.
Now, considering that he must have been around there somewhere to inaugurate the school, one presumes that he was in the locality, okay?
He might have done, yeah. Or maybe he just lent his name to it.
No. The school started in the Chester Cathedral. That was the whole point of him inaugurating these schools, because when he detached the Church of England from the Church of Rome, Bishop of Rome, you're not home.
Well, he set up the Church of England, didn't he?
Set up the Church of England. And so what he did is he set up a load of schools in cathedrals in England to bolster the new religion,
right?
Called the Church of England.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, he only did that because he wanted to get remarried, didn't he?
Yeah, of course,
It wasn't out of any kind of great nobility that he decided to launch his own church.
Nevertheless, he is the father of the Church of England, okay?
Well, he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he created it.
So what I'm saying is,
for nefarious
if he was around in Chester when my school was founded, and then 400 years later I go to that school, and then we found a new
What are you
picture.
saying? There's some kind of family lineage? Is that what you're saying now?
I'm saying it's not beyond a possibility.
So you think you might be related to Henry VIII?
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, where's the picture of your dad so we can have a look at both of the pictures together?
There aren't any pictures of my dad.
What do you mean there aren't any?
There aren't any.
How could there not be any pictures? Surely the local paper must have greeted him as a war hero when he came back from the Second World War.
No, there were so many war heroes around in those days. In fact, because...
No, that's not true. The local paper... Well, yeah, but in the same way that there's local memorials to any of the people that died from any particular village in Britain, the local paper in every village in Britain would have done a piece on all the local war heroes, I promise you.
Well, to be honest, it was probably the fact that he was born and brought up in Birkenhead, where the local paper is the Birkenhead News.
Yeah.
But then when he was demobbed after the war, met my mother, moved to Chester, where the local paper is the Chester Chronicle. So he maybe fell between the styles. But
the styles?
Yeah. Let me show you this picture. That is a mirror image of my dad. I mean, he's a bit heavier than I remember my dad.
Yeah.
My dad, I'm afraid, has
Did your
not
dad
been
have
around.
a beard as well, then?
My dad didn't have a beard, no.
Well, this picture guy has a beard.
Yeah, I know, but I mean...
So how can he look like somebody that doesn't have a beard?
If my dad had a beard, it would be a double for Henry VIII, honestly. I'm not joking.
Well,
and it makes me wonder...
You could say all sorts of things that might have been that.
It makes me wonder whether, how many generations down the line, whether I may be related to Henry VIII, quite seriously.
Really?
Well,
this is perhaps the most ridiculous delusion you've ever come out with.
It's not a delusion. I'm merely posing the question. I'm not claiming that I am the great grandson of Henry VIII. No. What I'm saying is, I mean, let's face it.
He did struggle to have sons, didn't he?
Well, let's face it. Without being crude in any way, this is a family show. Henry VIII was a mass Rogerizer of women.
He was.
And,
he had lots of wives, didn't he?
Well, yeah, but he had lots of mistresses as well.
Yeah.
Now, the point
is... But he still couldn't produce an heir.
No, he couldn't produce an heir, no. The point is, there weren't a lot of women around in those days, so he could quite literally have had Rogerization relationships with half of Chester in those days. You see what I mean?
Well,
literally half of Chester.
Well, he could have
Maybe 200 women. Maybe that was half of the women in Chester.
You just said that's where your father wasn't from.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did. You said he was from Birkenhead.
Yes, well, I know, but that's not very far away.
Well, it's quite a long way away in Elizabethan times.
No, it wasn't.
Tudor times.
No, it wasn't. It was only like half a day on a cart or something like that.
Half an hour in a cart?
Half a day on a cart.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure it is, yeah. And
you think he might have gone to Birkenhead on the way up to Chester?
No, because Birkenhead is beyond Chester from the London direction.
Oh, is it?
You go up into Cheshire, there's Chester, then you go down the Wirral to Birkenhead.
Yeah, but he could have gone up there first and then down.
No, I very much doubt it, because you'd have to go up one side of the Wirral, turn around and come down the other.
There was no M6 in those days, was there?
Oh, now look, you're getting ridiculous.
Well,
what I'm saying is...
You're telling me that you think you're related to Henry VIII and you're saying I'm getting ridiculous.
Look, all I'm saying
is... This picture looks I would assume, it looks nothing like you, for a start. So why
it does look a bit like me.
It doesn't look anything like you. His nose is different. His mouth is different. His eyes are different.
He looks very like my father.
Well, you say that, but I haven't got a picture of your father to judge it by.
Well, I haven't got a picture of my father. I think the thing that is, because my father was a war hero from the Second World War, there won't have been a lot of pictures of him, because a lot of stuff they did during the Second World War was secret, wasn't it?
What?
And you didn't, spread pictures of our troops around in case the Germans shot them. Hey?
That's rubbish.
It's not rubbish.
Every hero who came back from the war was pictured in a paper, I guarantee you.
Okay.
How can you have no pictures of your own father? How can you not have any?
Well, have you got a picture of your father?
Of course I have.
Where?
Well, I've got loads of them. I've got a couple of them up in my house. I've got, a whole album full of them. Well, I've got loads of pictures of him.
Why did you spend so much time taking pictures of your father?
Well, I didn't. It's just that you take pictures of your family.
Do you when?
Well, all the time.
Doing what?
Well, doing whatever, whether you're visiting them or whether you're out with them or whether you're on holiday with them. I mean, I've got loads of pictures of me on holiday with my father and my mother
weird,
when I was a child.
So you go and visit your mum and dad and you take a camera with you, because we didn't have phones in those days. You say, can I just take a picture of you, mum and dad?
No, we did have phones in those days. I've got pictures of him up until when he was quite old and died. I've got pictures of him all the way back down to when we were babies.
You see,
you haven't got any pictures of yourself as a child, have you?
Well, my dad died 35 years ago, unfortunately.
Right.
And
well, they did have cameras then.
They did have cameras then, but I mean, the point
haven't you got a picture of yourself with your dad?
No.
Why not?
I don't know.
I think that's weird.
Well, funny enough, there is a picture somewhere, I remember seeing it years ago, of my dad and I in the father and son competition at Butlins, Pwllheli in North Wales.
Father and son competition?
Yeah.
What was that about?
Well, what you used to do is Sorry, what are you laughing at? What's your problem?
Why would you have a competition of father and son? For what?
Well, that's what Butlins used to do.
Was that like a beauty contest?
Well, no, they used to have all these competitions.
And here's Mr. Parry and his demented, strange-looking, red-haired son.
Why do you have to be like that?
Well, no. What would you give him a prize for?
For father and son.
For what, though?
Well, if you look...
What, actually having a father? Was it that sort of place?
No, it wasn't that sort of place. If they looked like a fine combination of father and son. And, I mean, look...
Fine combination as in what?
What?
Well, I mean, were you dressed in particularly fancy dress? I mean, what do you mean fine combination?
My school uniforms, I remember. You've got to remember...
You were on holiday in your school uniform?
I think so, yeah. Now, you've got to remember...
sad. You had a very sad childhood. That's why you're so screwed up.
Hang on. In those days, in Butlins, they used to have all sorts of competitions. Like, they had the glamorous granny.
Yeah.
They had the knobbly knees competition.
Yeah.
So you used to roll up your trouser legs to see who had the most knobbly knees.
Yeah, but I can understand glamorous granny. Yeah. I can understand knobbly knees, right? I can't understand father and son.
Mother and daughter.
But what's the criteria?
Bonnie baby. You used to have a bonnie baby competition.
That's all understandable, but what's the criteria for father and son?
And the boxing, of course, because I won my boxing cup at Butlins, Pwllheli.
What's the criteria for father and son?
Well, it's, look, Well,
here's a father and here's a son.
Look,
so what? What do they win a prize for?
You're a father of 4 children.
Yes, I am.
You must have, during the lifetime, people said, oh, such a proud father, and
you don't enter a competition.
Don't they look great together? Well, my dad felt it was worth entering a competition. I think we won third place. I think we won...
You won third place in the father and son contest.
Sorry, what's amusing about that? I don't know why you find that amusing.
Well, who won it?
Well, I don't know, somebody else, obviously. But, I mean, what I'm saying is...
Why were they a better father and son combo than you, though?
I don't know. Perhaps, my problem is a bit that my dad had no hair. He was bald.
Right.
And
so that means he's even less likely to look like Henry VIII.
Well, Henry VIII doesn't look like he's got much hair on there.
He's got loads of hair.
He hasn't got any hair. He's got a hat on. He's got a hat on right to his forehead. All I'm saying is, stranger things in life have happened when people have seen pictures and thought, oh, my God.
Yeah.
There's such a spark of identity and relationship there. Who knows that it won't be? That isn't true.
Well, maybe Butlins have got a picture of you coming third in the father and son competition. We could go and refine that and then bring it in and show us, because otherwise...
They wouldn't have it now.
I've just tweeted out the picture, right?
From about 50 years ago, for goodness sake.
Well, so what?
When I was about 6 or something,
All right, so you're 56 now, aren't you?
No, I'm not saying that. No,
you're not? Okay.
No.
So basically what you're saying is, I'm going to send this picture out saying that you think it looks like your dad.
Yes.
But we have no frame of reference. So we can't say to anybody, can you tell whether this looks like Porky's dad?
Why can't you,
what your dad looks like?
Why can't you just take my word for it?
Why would I take it? Because I can't take your word for anything.
Yes, you can.
Because you're a complete and utter fabricator.
Honestly, once again, it's all about Lewis Hamilton and Nicky Rosberg. You trying to denigrate my character to try and get the upper hand in the relationship.
I already have the upper hand.
No, you don't.
I don't have to try. This is Talk Sport. Loads more coming up.
Need a business partner you can rely on? Check out the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter 313 medium wheelbase high roof at Mercedes-Benz East London Van Centre. It comes with a free option pack, 3 free services and a deposit contribution of £2,800, and it will cost your business just £299 a month. Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, partnering your business for 20 years. For details and conditions, visit mbvanseastlondon.co.uk. Business users only, based on 60-month agility agreement, deposit 454312, optional final payment 6475 and 10,000 miles per annum. Mileage and damage charges may apply. Mercedes-Benz Finance. Offer ends the 15th of December.
Live Championship football with Brentford FC. This Saturday afternoon at 3. The Bees take on MK Dons at Griffin Park. Adult tickets are available from £25 and kids tickets are just £8. No booking fees apply online. Buy yours now at brentfordfc.co.uk.
The BMW i3. It's not just an electric car. It's an electric car that drives like a BMW. Rentals from £299 per month. Discover more at bmw.co.uk/i3. £3,699 initial rental, 36-month hire agreement from BMW Financial Services, subject to status and availability for new vehicles ordered before 31st of December 2015 and registered by 31st of March 2016. UK only, guarantees may be required. Mileage and other conditions apply when you return the vehicle.
Get a generous helping of the latest odds and tasty tips with Paddy's Punts. Every weekday afternoon from 4 on Drive with Durham and Goffey on Talk Sport with Paddy Power. You're welcome. With the form on the football.
But what a game.
The going on the GGs.
And they're off.
The crack on the cricket. 6. And lashings of Paddy's famous generosity.
Come on, give us a break. It's only a bit of crack, isn't it?
Get your tips while they're hot with Paddy's Punts. Weekday afternoons from 4 with Adrian Durham and Darren Goff on Talk Sport with Paddy Power. You're welcome.
On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
The pressure's on now.
Relieve the itch. Talk Sport.
Now the drugs don't work, they just make you worse. But I know I'll see your face again. But I know.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics. There will be a podcast coming out a little bit later on, about 7 hours from now. Matt says this: Porky has had many wives, just like Henry VIII. The main difference is they were somebody else's.
Outrageous!
And here's
Goodness sake!
And here's one from Trevor that says Porky's always reluctant to reveal his age, so maybe he is much older than we think.
No, I'm not. I'm not reluctant to admit my age. Just that nobody's interested. I wouldn't even worry about it, honestly.
And Neil says, is Porky on drugs with his Henry VIII cobblers? Can he be sedated, please?
No.
MG.
Listen, I've said to you, I'm not claiming it whatsoever. I've raised it. I mean, you don't understand anything about genealogy, do you?
Well, I understand enough about genealogy to say that if you wish to compare one face with another, you need to have two pictures. Not just one.
No, you don't know that at all.
Yeah, of course I do.
You don't know that at all.
You cannot compare the two faces if you only have one face.
Why have you tweeted out the picture?
I've tweeted out the picture because I want people to look at it.
Yeah.
Because you claim that you think it looks like your dad. However, without a picture of your dad, it's kind of meaningless.
Now, the point is, you've tweeted that picture out thinking that will subject me to more mockery.
Not at all.
Right?
Not at all.
I know that you having put that picture out, people will now warm to the idea because they will see my face in that face. through my father,
Very
if
possibly.
you see what I mean.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what they say. Roy says, so now he's trying to claim he's a descendant of Henry VIII. It would fit the vile Tudors. It all makes sense now, Porky.
Vile Tudors?
The Tudors were thought to be pretty vile.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm afraid everybody was vile in those days. You know, that's what they did. By the way, I got a book about the Spanish Inquisition at the weekend. Oh,
didn't expect that.
Too horrendous to...
All right, well, hang on a second.
I mean...
Well, wait, because
you wouldn't want to read it.
We've got Julia Ross waiting.
Right, let's talk to Julia.
She's a pioneer in the field of nutritional therapy to cure addictions. There was a story this week about how people are now calling something caffeine use disorder, and psychologists are actually treating people who are basically ingesting too much caffeine.
Well,
Julia, a very good morning to you, and I'm terribly sorry to keep you waiting.
Well, actually, it's a good evening to you here.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Now, what do you make of this phrase, first of all, caffeine use disorder, which is what doctors are now apparently treating in the United States and probably soon here?
Well, I think it's very accurate, and particularly since energy drinks have taken their turn here. We just had someone come in who was addicted to Rockstar, high potency energy drink, and he was drinking 9 a day.
Right.
Addicted to what, I'm sorry?
These energy drinks like Red Bull, which is another one, and Rockstar.
Rockstar was his particular favorite, and he was hiding them around the house. He worked at home. He works at home, and he was 36 years old with no history of stroke in the family on either side.
Right.
And he's had 3.
He's had 3 strokes.
3 strokes.
Wow.
About the time that his intake reached 9 a day.
Right. And what is it about these energy drinks that is so addictive? Is it just the caffeine, or is there something else in them as well?
No, well, they're sweet. So you've got the double whammy of the sugar and high fructose corn syrup in most cases with the caffeine. And that's enough at a certain level. You get something like, a methamphetamine high
that's
with
terrible.
a certain amount of caffeine.
Now, Julia, can I put this to you? One reason why we have to be very, very careful about these energy drinks is because young people take an energy drink like a Red Bull and then they stick a large vodka in it, which is alcohol. Now, this is incredibly dangerous because alcohol, of course, slows your body down, whereas caffeine speeds it up. So you've got one drug trying to speed your heart up, another one trying to slow it down. This is a recipe for utter disaster and should be banned by law.
Well, nobody's putting alcohol in it in the morning, which is when energy drinks are the most popular, although I agree they can be used all day and all night long to keep you going.
Julia, I hate to advise you here, but you haven't been to Britain lately. There are plenty of people round here drinking caffeine and alcohol in the mornings, believe me. Yeah.
Well, it's just when you go to Wetherspoons at 9 a.m. for breakfast.
Well, people do go...
Well, I didn't say they weren't doing it. I just said the majority of people who want a big buzz want it in the morning because they can't get up because of what happened the night before.
Disgraceful.
Possibly the alcohol the night before. But what you, I think, are interested in talking to me about is there any solution to the problem?
Well, absolutely right.
Once you've gotten addicted to anything, it's pretty hard to stop. And I've been in the addiction field for over 25 years.
Yeah.
So I'm very well aware of it. But there's something terribly important available now that can turn off the addictive chemistry in the brain, and it's a nutritional approach. It's brain nutrition. These are nutrients that are very easy to find in any health food store. They're totally safe and natural. And
so these are things that you...
What we're trying to do is feed the brain's natural caffeine.
Right.
The brain
so
makes
these
a very powerful collection of chemicals like adrenaline that will take you to the moon if you have enough.
Yeah. But, I mean, are you saying, Julia, that you've got the antidote, as it were, to these types of drinks? But does that mean that you're substituting something which you would call more natural and safer with
No, I know that's, when you use herbs, sometimes you get that kind of effect. It's just a substitute with maybe less side effects. But this is actually a solution because it provides the brain with exactly the nutrients that it needs to make more of its natural stimulants.
Yeah.
And the reason that some people are really drawn to stimulants is because of their own production is sluggish. They really aren't energetic enough.
Yeah.
But they can be if the brain is fed properly, and the way to do it and get the results within literally moments is to feed it the individual nutrients that it needs to make more of its natural stimulants. And the reason that some people are really drawn to stimulants is because of their own production is sluggish. They really aren't energetic enough. But they can be if the brain is fed properly, and the way to do it and get the results within literally moments is to feed it the individual amino acid or protein that brain chemical that naturally stimulates us is made out of.
Yeah, but
we've been doing it for 15, 20 years, and it's amazingly effective.
But, Julia, the problem is that would work in a perfect world where people were properly disciplined. The people who've got the problem are usually low-life scumbags who want to go around feeding themselves full of, stuff that gives them a boost to make them feel better, whether it's alcohol or caffeine.
No, that's not actually true.
There's
so many people tired now who can't concentrate. It's almost universal.
Yeah, but
at least in the United States, most people of any class are using stimulants like crazy.
Yeah, but a lot of stimulants
works in 5 minutes, so people are highly motivated once they start.
Yeah.
To use it, and what they notice is after a few weeks, sometimes a few months, they don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
Their natural stimulant system is functioning, and they're not drawn to the drug stimulants.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, see, there was a time when my broadcasting colleague here, Mr. Parry, used to drink a lot of Red Bull every night when he came into the studio, and we do an overnight radio show. So obviously we're awake. We're awake at a time when other people perhaps are asleep, right? And then he claimed that he'd given it up. And we've caught him drinking it a couple of times recently, and I wonder if that's kind of the act of an addict, isn't it? They pretend that they're not on it anymore.
Absolutely, that's 100%. Definitive.
Yeah.
You say you're not going to. You admit that it's a problem, and then you can't stay away from it.
Exactly.
No. What I'm saying is, Julia, is that people who are addicted because they love the buzz to it. They're not going to go suddenly off to some health food store and say, oh, instead of filling myself full of Red Bull or Red Bull and vodka or something like that, I think I'll go and get myself a packet of tablets from a health store which replace the buzz I get from being addicted to caffeine. People just don't think like that.
Well, that's true when they're first addicted, but when the side effects start to kick in, like they can't sleep, like their partner can't stand them anymore, like they're not making sense on the job.
Yeah,
that
sounds
then
familiar.
They're motivated, and they're looking for something different because willpower doesn't work with a biochemical condition, which is what addiction is. It really isn't a lazy choice. It turns out that people... you can make a lazy choice once in a while, but to do it on a daily basis, you've had a biochemical switch turn.
What do you think the truth is, Julia, about addiction?
Well,
because
I'm an addiction expert.
You haven't been taking any of these.
Years, remember?
Have you been taking any of these stimulants, Julia, before you came on? Honestly, we're trying to keep you quiet for a minute. Listen, what's the difference though between some people? Because not everybody,
this is a gang up.
Like not everybody.
Two against one.
No, well, we'll try not to. But it's usually you and me against him, right? But here's the thing. I mean, some people can drink a lot of alcohol and not become alcoholics. Other people can take very little alcohol and become alcoholics. Some people can snort lines of cocaine until they're blue in the face, but they don't become addicted to drugs. Other people become addicted to it.
That's right.
What's the difference between people who become addicted and those who don't?
Well, you were talking about genealogy, and the family past going back has everything to do with it. You inherit the brain chemistry of your forebears. And because we're so stressed, because we're eating so poorly, because we're so hurried that we don't have good quality food anymore, it's easy for those negative traits to start coming to the fore.
Yeah.
And
it's all dream world stuff, though, Julia.
You were vulnerable to addiction.
Julia, it's all dream world stuff, honestly. It really is.
Have you had any Red Bull tonight?
No, I haven't. Of course, I haven't had any Red Bull for weeks and weeks and weeks.
I don't
Julia,
believe that.
I think you do a fantastic job. The problem is you're up against the odds, and the odds are that the scumbags don't really want to be cured of their addictions. That's the problem.
Well, the scumbags won't be, but there are, probably 75% of addicts who are not scumbags, who are desperate to have a solution.
Most addicts I know are scumbags. Yeah.
Well, Julia, as you can see, I have a lot to put up with here with Mr. Parry. He's not a man who's very open to new ideas, or indeed even to admitting that he's got a problem. Yeah. But thank you for trying anyway.
He's enjoying blaming those scumbags enormously. I know that.
He does.
I would like to say one more thing, just one thing, and that is for those non-scumbags who are listening to this program, my book, The Mood Cure, which goes into quite a bit of detail about how to do this nutritional brain therapy, is available in the UK as well as online.
Great.
And
Good. Moodcure.com. We've got it. Thank you very much indeed.
Julia, delightful to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Julia.
We'll talk some more about the Red Bull addiction that you're trying to hide from everybody very shortly.
I've got a Red Bull addiction. A mate of mine got addicted to
quinine. For this.
Quinine.
You
know what that is?
Quinine. It's on breakfast, isn't it? Sports breakfast.
No. It's in tonic. It's on Schweppes tonic.
Quinine. Yeah, I know.
Quinine.
Yeah, I know.
It's in Schweppes tonic.
Right.
You can get addicted to it.
Look at the time.
Used to break into the fridge at night.
Why don't you get addicted to the time instead? This is Talk Sport.
Talk Sport on DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
Freedom for sport.
Can we kick it? Yes, we can. Talk Sport.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics. There will be a podcast coming out a little bit later on. Porkyvision to look forward to. And, of course, tomorrow night is Porky Quiz Night. The subject is Rabbi Butlins, because we're off to Glasgow for a two-mic show at the Garage.
Absolutely right.
On Saturday night. That woman, Julia Ross, was quite a mouthful, wasn't she? I mean,
she was
quite difficult to keep quiet. And also...
She was trying to flog her book. I didn't realise that.
Well, no, it wasn't that. But, I mean, she was full of information. But also, she seemed to adopt rather enthusiastically your term scumbag.
She did.
Which I'm not sure she'd heard before.
It's not a word we ever used in America, was it?
I don't think it... Well, actually, I think Americans do say it, yeah.
No, I think it's deadbeat dad.
No, they say scumbag there as well. I think it's an American
scumbag.
word. Here's one from Michael. He says, I'm in absolute tears at this current conversation. Father and son competition. What an end to a long day.
Yes, absolutely.
Michael says, first women have sex with ghosts. Now this, Mike Parry's gone mad. That plank Parry is lucky. You're just so resigned to the abuse, he says.
I think the same guy says, can't stop listening. Great show, fellas. I'm starting to feel sorry for Mike Parry. He's obviously a moron. Why do you feel sorry for me if I'm a moron? Too much time in the locked room.
Yeah, Elliot from Liverpool says, a cry with laughter at Pillock Porky's entry into a father and son competition at Butlins. Never heard such baloney, which is not quite what he says, but I have to say that word instead. Darren's a Spurs fan. He says, Mike Parry and his dad won the Henry VIII lookalike contest at Butlins. Henry was an ugly sod. There's no doubt Porky's related.
And Dean here says, really spooky. They're talking about the picture you've put out about Henry VIII, so they can see the resemblance. Yeah. OK?
Ian in Leicester says, Porky just stated that Henry VIII founded his school in 1548, yet he actually died in 1547.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Must have come back as one of Porky's ghosts.
No, what happened
what was the right year then?
I think it was 1528, actually.
Oh, right.
1528,
okay.
yeah.
Good morning, MG, says Winford. I really can see MP getting third place, as there was only 3 people daft enough to enter the competition.
Yeah, well, it could be. Any fat bloke with a beard could have been Porky's dad, says Pumpty Dumpty.
Well, except you just confessed that your dad didn't have a beard.
No, he didn't have a beard.
So how can he look anything like a guy that does have a beard?
I don't know.
Because, I mean, did I tell you that we discovered, I didn't discover, but somebody tweeted it to me, and in fact, I've been meaning to put it out on our Facebook page.
Yes.
A picture of you without a beard. Because you apparently shaved it off some years ago in the TalkSport studio.
Yeah, I did, actually,
and you look
for
completely
charity.
different.
Do I?
You look absolutely
Well, you need to put that picture
different.
out so people can see that, there is a true man of feeling there beneath
well, maybe
the beard.
Maybe you would say it looks a bit like your dad then, because he didn't have a beard.
It may be. Now, listen, what I want to ask you this. What are you having on Christmas Day?
What do you want to ask me this?
Yeah, is it going to be turkey?
What do you want to ask me this? What are you going to say in English next?
No, yeah, is it going to be turkey on Christmas Day?
No, not turkey, no. Because I'm not a massive fan of turkey.
So what's it going to be?
Probably chicken.
Right. Now, did you know... I mean, have you ever listened to The Archers?
I used to listen to it because my mother used to listen to it all the time.
I can't believe it.
When I was in my formative years,
yes,
and I used to live in a kitchen. Basically in our flat in Hampstead, because we didn't have enough room for me, and I got kicked out of the one bedroom that we had.
Exactly. You had to sleep in the kitchen.
Well, my mother would have it on while she was making the dinner. She would have the Archers on every night.
And you were lying in your bed in the kitchen?
No, I was sitting there talking to her.
Oh, right, okay.
But the Archers very much a staple of our household.
So you knew the plot and you know all the characters?
Well, I mean, it was a very long time ago.
I've never listened to it once in my life.
Maybe not.
And yet, funny enough...
I mean, I haven't listened to it since I was about probably, 12 or 13.
Funny enough, when I went to work on the Birmingham Evening Mail, I worked in the district office to start off with, which is registered as a lovely little market town with an expansive sort of social housing estate built around it. It was called Redditch Newtown.
Social housing?
Yeah, Redditch Newtown.
What do you mean, council houses?
Well, I rented a flat there for £10 a week with a garage underneath. It was fantastic because they were trying to suck people into the town to make it prosperous.
Yeah.
And it was right on the Warwickshire-Worcestershire border.
Yeah.
But one village just over the border into Warwickshire was called Inkbarrow.
Inkbarrow. Okay.
And that was the real location for the fictional Archers Village.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Oh, right.
And,
I thought they lived in Ambridge.
Well, that might be the fictional name.
Well, Ambridge is the name for the town that they live in. Or the village or whatever.
That's the fictional name,
Everybody knows that.
Is that right?
Well, Ambridge, yeah, that's where it all goes on.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's their fictional name. That's the name in the show, is it?
Yeah. Well, that's what they call it on the radio show. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So that's fictional. Well, that's based on Inkbarrow, which is just inside Warwickshire.
How do you know that?
Wiltshire. Because we used to go there. I used to.
How do you know it was? That's what the Archers was based on.
Because we used to go and do stories there about people who thought that they'd been, subject to being modelled as an Archer's character and all that kind of stuff. Okay. But anyway, the reason I'm asking is that apparently.
It's also a place in Pennsylvania.
What?
Ambridge, Pennsylvania.
Ambridge, it's not that one,
There's also one in Ambridge in Wisconsin, too.
Yeah, but Ambridge is not real, you idiot.
Well, the one in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania is real.
Yes, I know, but it's the one in this country for the Archers is not real.
Archers there.
Now then, what I'm saying is...
What are you saying?
A few weeks ago, somebody in the Archers said they were going to have goose this year instead of turkey.
I had goose one time.
Did you?
Yeah, it was
very
a nightmare.
Fatty, isn't
well,
it?
I'll tell you what was the nightmare about the goose was you had to cook it. It was when I was still married, actually, and we were living in that house you saw in Primrose Hill.
Right.
And we decided to cook this goose. And you have to cook it, first of all, and drain all the fat off it, even before you actually put it in the oven. So we had to put it, on top of the cooker.
Right.
Cover it in silver foil.
Right.
And basically steam it for something like 2 hours, so that all the goose.
How do you steam it?
Well, you put water in the bottom of a pan, and you put it on a wire above the water.
I see. Yeah.
The water boils, and it steams all the fat off the goose.
Right.
And then you've got basically a big sort of vat of fat.
I bet
you have to throw away.
Hope you don't throw it down the drain.
No, you shouldn't do that.
No, of course not. You clog up the drains.
Clog up the drain. So you have to sort of chuck it on a compost heap or something.
Yeah.
But then you have to cook the goose in the oven once all the fat's come off it. But it's very big as well. So you have a big oven, and it's still very fatty. And actually, I mean, by the time it was so much work that by the time you actually got it on the plate, it really wasn't worth the effort.
So why do people eat goose then?
Well, because it's thought to be kind of slightly, I suppose, indulgent. It's something that you would never eat other than at Christmas.
Anyway,
and, it's not the kind of thing you would have as a regular Sunday bird, is it?
Right. Well, due to the fact that Rex and Toby Fairbrother.
Who?
Rex and Toby Fairbrother, new characters.
Are these in the Archers?
Yeah, new characters in the Archers, right. What happened was in the play, like in the radio series, they suddenly said a few months ago that they were going to buy 250 goslings, and they were going to rear them for people who wanted goose at Christmas.
Okay.
As a result of which, there's been an explosion of interest in people having a goose for Christmas instead of a turkey.
Oh, yeah, well, the thing is, because so many people listen to the Archers and have done probably for decades, people are very easily influenced by what they hear on it, aren't they?
Right. Now, a breeder in County Durham called Judith Dryden is amazed because of her 100 geese that she was fattening for Christmas and expected, to sell maybe 60 or 70 of them. They've all gone.
Uh-huh.
They all went weeks ago.
Right.
She said it started months ago and we're getting lots of early orders from names I hadn't seen before, not regular people. It just so happened that others were looking for a goose.
Oh, right.
I thought, what's all this about? I started asking customers and they said, well, it's the Archers.
Yeah.
Everybody in the Archers are going to have goose for Christmas.
Well, I mean, I suppose that's good news if you're a goose farmer, isn't it?
Right, now, there's a bit of the plot here.
Have you ever had goose?
Never.
No.
Never. Don't think I've
what
ever
will you
tasted.
Will you be having turkey for dinner then?
Turkey. Love turkey.
Do you?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Do you have it more than once a year then? Do you have it at any other times apart from Christmas?
Well, when I go to the carvery, I always have turkey.
Oh, the Toby carvery?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes, they do very nice
turkeys. Have you been there recently?
Not too recently, maybe 3 weeks.
I passed one actually not long ago when I was taking my car down to Bexley Heath. There's a Toby carvery there.
Fine institutions. They are fine institutions.
Well,
believe me. I know you mock them and all that, but that's because I'm a man of the people.
I would eat in one.
Well, I don't know why. The food is perfectly nutritious.
It's
It is.
Everything's boiled to within an inch of its life.
Anyway,
That's why you like it.
Listen. It says here in the Archers play, right?
Yeah, it's been going since 1950. The Archers.
That's amazing, isn't it? Right, the Fairbrother's.
The Fairbrothers?
Yeah, the new characters. The new characters, Rex and Toby Fairbrother, right?
Are they permanent brothers or just temporary?
What do you mean?
Well, they've been brothers for a long time.
Well, you can only be brother for life, can't you? You can't be a temporary brother, you idiot.
Well, you talked about Phil Neville's current brother.
No, don't be stupid. Now, listen, the Fairbrothers, who are the step-nephews of the late Grace Archer...
Hey?
Well, you must remember Grace Archer if you were listening to it as a kid.
Really. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, Grace Archer arrived in Ambridge, so they've named the town.
Well, apparently Ambridge is also in a fictional county of Dorsetshire.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right, this summer, Toby was sent to buy 100 gosling and returned with 250. The brothers are now competing with the Grundy family's long-established Christmas turkey business.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a battle going on in the Archers between the geese and the turkey, OK?
Uh-huh.
Mrs. Dryden, this is the woman who rears these geese.
Yeah.
said the show's producers had gone to great lengths to ensure authenticity. The Goose Association, how about this? I didn't know there was one. Yeah, the Goose Association held a meeting, and the Archers made out that the Fairbrothers had actually been there and taken part.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's, lots of people have different ideas about what they do at Christmas, don't they? Some people like to have a ham. Some people like to have roast beef.
Well, I think we have ham on Boxing Day.
Do you?
And we have roast beef on the day after.
The day after?
Yeah.
That's a bit of an overdose of joints, isn't it?
No, not at all, no.
Too much roasts.
There's one other
guy... You can't eat 3 roasts in a row.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
No, you shouldn't do that.
Now, there's one other guy here, and there's another farmer called John Franklin.
Yeah.
I knew a Mike Franklin once.
Did you?
Yeah.
I knew Ben Franklin.
Very unsavoury character.
Was he? He's still alive?
And he's still alive, yeah.
What about Ben Franklin?
I don't know Ben Franklin.
He was the President of the United States, wasn't he?
Benjamin Franklin was, yeah. Actually, I know something about Benjamin Franklin.
Do you?
I think, now this is true, right?
Yeah.
I think
he's on a note, isn't he? He's on a $100 bill.
I think he was the only president of the United States who we can confirm contracted gonorrhea.
Gonorrhea?
Yeah. Gonorrhea.
Do you mean gonorrhea?
Gonorrhea.
Really?
Gonorrhea. I think that's the statistic about him.
Right.
If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I think that is the statistic.
I think there was a lot of talk about people conducting or contracting gonorrhea who didn't contract gonorrhea.
Well, how do you know?
Well, because it was the sort of thing that people used to try and smear people with.
Oh, is that right?
Particularly Victorian.
Right. Well, if I'm wrong, he's been dead a long time, old Ben Franklin, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
He has. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
they still call a $100 bill of Ben Franklin, don't they?
Do they really?
Yeah, they do.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Well, if I'm wrong, I'm really sorry about that. But I mean, it was probably a spurious rumour, so I shouldn't mention it, really. So I'll withdraw it, actually.
No, okay.
Right, now then, so John Franklin, 51.
Have you seen the time, by the way?
Who has 475 birds at his farm in Sandy in Bedfordshire, says they're going like hotcakes. It's quite a job to quantify the impact. Customers have been mentioning the Archers. Numbers are way up.
Really?
So there you go.
Well, maybe you should try one.
Isn't that amazing how people can be carried away about something that's fictional? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, all we'd have to do...
I mean, you never get carried away with anything fictional, do you?
No. But, I mean, we could start a rush on things by saying, Porky's suddenly taken up eating, like, I don't know, asparagus or something like that. And then everybody...
What's wrong with that?
Well, nothing's wrong with it, but then we could start a rush on asparagus. So, actually, we could fix the market. We could go and see all the asparagus guys at Covent Garden and say, right, grow twice as much asparagus next week.
Yeah.
We're going to big up asparagus.
Right.
The two
I think
mics,
you've said asparagus too many times already.
No, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then start a rush on asparagus.
When George Bush said he didn't like broccoli.
And did people stop eating it?
Well, the broccoli farmers went nuts.
Really?
Because he actually, in a press conference, he said, I'm the President of the United States, and, I don't like broccoli. I never liked it. I'm not going to eat broccoli.
Oh, well, that's
and,
dangerous territory.
The market went down the tubes.
Dangerous territory.
Anyway, we'll talk some more about vegetables coming up.
I like croquettes, actually. Nobody eats them these days.
They're not vegetables.
You get them in Iceland.
They're not
frozen.
vegetables.
No, I like them.
This is Talk Sport.
Need a business partner you can rely on? Check out the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter 313 medium wheelbase high roof at Mercedes-Benz East London Van Centre. It comes with a free option pack, 3 free services, and a deposit contribution of £2,800. And it will cost your business just £299 a month. Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, partnering your business for 20 years. For details and conditions, visit mbvanseastlondon.co.uk. Business users only based on 60-month agility agreement, deposit 454312, optional final payment 6475 and 10,000 miles per annum. Mileage and damage charges may apply. Mercedes-Benz Finance. Offer ends the 15th of December.
You can choose a free gift if you buy a 4G handset from Tesco Mobile this Christmas. So that's a Samsung Core Prime for just $12.50 a month and a board game for the kids. Or a magazine subscription for your wife. Or you could treat yourself to a wireless speaker. I'm sure they won't mind. After all, you did put up a shelf 6 months ago, and they're probably still in awe of that. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
Subject to signing up to a 24-month contract with Tesco Mobile. 4G subject to coverage. For terms, charges and rules of redemption, visit tescomobile.com. Subject to availability and status. Offer ends 22nd of December.
Because road conditions change in a second, BMW's intelligent four-wheel drive switches power from rear to front wheels in just 1/10 of a second. From rear to front. From front to rear. From rear to front. Delivering grip that's almost magnetic. X-Drive. Available on models across the range, including Sports Hatch, Saloon, Coupe and Touring. To find out more, visit your local BMW centre.
If you fancy a flutter on the football, a punt on the ponies, a double on the dance, or a treble on the tennis, you're in luck. Get closer to the action every weekend with Betway's Man in the Know on the Weekend Sports Breakfast with Georgie Bingham and Mickey Quinn. Bringing you all the form on the football, the going at Goodwood, the tries at Twickenham and the overs at the Oval. Every Saturday and Sunday morning from 7 on TalkSport. With Betway. For the latest offers, head to betway.com.
TalkSport.
He scores again!
The radio station with the extravagant lifestyle off the pitch.
100 grand a week. Keep a Fabergé egg on your dashboard.
TalkSport.
This is TalkSport. We are the two mics. Coming up in the next hour, it's Porkyvision, of course, and there will be a podcast coming out a little bit later on. A couple of great tweets here and texts. One from Phil in Hertfordshire, who's texted into 81089. He says, rather than ridiculing Mike Parry for his magnificent third place in the father and son competition, perhaps we should be more compassionate. I propose a minute's silence to express our condolences to the wretched human beings who placed fourth or below in the same contest.
Well, absolutely, yeah. I mean, they couldn't have been up to much, could
they couldn't have been. And Darren, who's a Spurs fan, says, Porky's past two animals will come back to haunt him in his next life as a rat. He opened McDonald's in Russia and hates cats. He would make me and my partner very happy if he went vegan for the day with a nut roast. Save a turkey, Porky.
I don't know what they're talking about. Listen, talking about food, by the way, do you know you can now get a degree in making Domino's pizzas?
Can you?
Oh, no, it's not Domino's Pizza, sorry, it's Pizza Hut. You can get a degree. What Pizza Hut have done it? What are you laughing at?
What do you mean a degree?
You can get degree.
You mean from Pizza Hut University?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's not a degree, is it?
Exactly.
It's not a degree.
They're going to create...
It's a qualification for working in a fast food organisation.
I'm not big enough pizza.
McDonald's have got a university as well.
Let me tell you about this one.
Yeah,
go on. Actually, if I had to say what my favourite pizza is, it would be the... what's the one where you can go in a restaurant? Pizza Express. I love them. They're great, yeah. But I also like Domino's pizza.
What sort of pizza do you have normally?
I have the Hawaiian.
The Hawaiian?
Hawaiian.
What, the one with pineapple on it?
Pineapple... What are you laughing at? What's your problem?
It's like a child's pizza. You eat like a child.
No, it has...
pineapple on pizza. It's horrendous.
It has pineapple, ham and mushroom.
Yeah,
I love it.
I know what's on it.
I love it. It's wonderful. In fact, I had two last time I was in there.
Did you?
I had one. I thought it was so delicious, I'd have another one.
Right.
So I did.
Yeah.
And I hadn't finished on my bottle of Pinot, so I thought I'll have a second one.
Ham and pineapple pizza doesn't surprise me.
Oh, I love it. Don't you like ham and pineapple?
No, of course not.
Why not?
Because it's child's pizza.
It's not child's pizza.
Proper pizza.
I don't know why you say that. You say that to insult me, but I'm not insulted.
Well, you are.
I like what I eat.
Because you've raised your voice.
No, I'm not. Listen.
You feel inadequate.
It says here, Pizza Hut's going to create 1,500 apprenticeships over the next 5 years.
Yeah.
It'll be the first ever apprenticeship scheme to cover the skills of food production, but also financial analysis. So what they're trying to do is...
they're trying to create managers of
Yes,
Pizza
that's right,
Huts.
absolutely. But one of them is you have to be able to bake or cook a pizza.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think if you're going to work as a manager in a pizza joint, you should be able to know how to make a pizza.
Exactly.
I used to make pizzas on my own.
Oh, rubbish.
I did. When I worked in the bakery, I was taught how to make just pizza dough, which is very simple.
Did you have pizza ovens?
Well, no, we had giant ovens, but I didn't make the pizzas there. What I did was I made the dough there because they had the big mixing machines for making the dough, and I would freeze the dough and take the dough home, and then when I wanted to roll out a pizza, I could just roll out a pizza and make a pizza. It was great.
Excellent.
The only thing that went wrong was that one time we were staying. It was when I was living with my sister and my then girlfriend.
Yes.
In where was it? Belsize Park,
right.
Swiss Cottage, around there. And one day I went out and the electricity ran out. And unfortunately, the fridge had been off for about 10 hours or something like that because we'd been away.
So it all went?
And, well, no, the thing was because it had yeast in it, it had grown. And it had actually grown out of the freezer, because in those days it was just a small freezer box. It had grown out of the freezer box and kind of, enveloped the whole floor.
My God.
Yeah.
That's
it was
revolting.
like something out of Quatermass.
Yeah, exactly. And did the electricity run out because you hadn't put any money in the meter?
Well, no, it was a meter, but it was one of those things where usually if you were in when the meter ran out, because it was a rented flat, you
got
just
a
had to go
ticking
down.
sound.
You just had to go downstairs and put more money in because nobody was there. We didn't realise.
That's poverty level living, that is.
Well, I was only about 20 at the time.
I mean, my God. Anyway, listen, what happens here is it's run at Manchester Metropolitan University, and academic and practical courses.
So presumably this will be one of these courses which is sponsored by the company.
Yeah, they take up places at Manchester Road. Just a good idea.
If you are put through your paces by Pizza Hut, they wouldn't be too happy if you then went off and got a job at Domino's, would they?
Absolutely. Listen, if your boys, right, who are aged, like 9 and 11 or something, are they?
Nearly 9 and 11, yeah.
Nearly 9 and 11. If they came and said, look, we've just seen a notice pinned on the village notice board where the local police are looking for volunteers to wash the patrol cars and to find stolen property... it's a voluntary job to assist the police. Would you let them go and do it?
I think they're a bit young, actually.
Well, this is what the police are looking for.
What, 11-year-olds?
It says Cambridgeshire Constabulary advertised on the Forces website.
Well, I wouldn't want them going all the way to Cambridge.
No, they wouldn't go to Cambridge, obviously. I'm talking about if it was local down in Sussex where you live.
Yeah.
Cambridgeshire Constabulary advertised on the Forces website this week for a vehicle tasking volunteer and property recovery volunteers.
Well, they must want people who are older than 11, surely.
No, kids can volunteer to clean cars.
Really?
You see, I hate seeing a dirty police car. To me, that's a sign of slovenliness.
Well, why don't they just put it through a car wash?
Because they don't have car washes.
What do you mean they have car washes? There's car washes everywhere.
Police stations don't have car washes.
Well, they take it to the car wash.
They haven't
That's what everybody else has to do.
Because in their budgets, they haven't got any money to clean the cars.
Well, maybe the police should spend their own money doing it.
So they have to do
it costs
them
about £5.
Voluntarily. The advert for a property recovery volunteer says to provide an enhanced capability for local officers to locate and recover stolen property, you will routinely visit local car boot sales.
Well, that's not a job for children, is it?
Antique dealers and various pawn shops to attempt to locate stolen items.
No,
How about that?
I don't like the idea of that at all.
Well, that's for adults probably, that. But, I mean, washing the cars is something children can do.
No, but, I mean, why should they wash the cars for nothing, though?
Yeah, it says here, the vehicle tasking volunteer.
Did you not hear what I said?
Yes, I did.
I mean, if they wash my car, I give them money.
Yeah, I'm replying
if they're going to wash a police car, they should get money as well.
No, they'd be thrilled to wash a police car.
No, they wouldn't.
They would. They'd be able to get inside and switch the blue lights on and all that kind of stuff.
No, they wouldn't let them do that.
Children find them exciting.
No, they wouldn't let them do that.
The vehicle tasking volunteer advert reads, we are asking for volunteers to keep our vehicles ready for action by performing weekly safety checks, maintaining essential equipment and keeping our cars looking professional. Right? I think this is great. I think
this is an unfortunate sort of side effect of what we are now being told is the police cuts, even though we're now being told the police cuts have been reversed.
Yes.
I mean, if the police can't manage to wash their own cars, right, because they've got far too much to do, and if they can't bother to track down stolen property. I mean, the police don't track down stolen property now. So why do they want people to volunteer to do
Well,
it?
because people...
I mean, if you lost, for example, if somebody stole your, I don't know, your phone,
Yes.
or somebody stole my iPad, the police would come and give you a crime number
and
over
that'd be
the
it.
phone. They wouldn't have any interest in trying to recover the actual item itself.
That would probably
So
be
why
it.
would they want members of the public doing it?
Well, yeah, listen, Jonathan Iserby is the chief executive of the Taxpayers Alliance.
He is indeed, I know him.
Oh, you know him, do you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And he supports the move. He says if civic-minded people are willing to give up
he's
their
a bit
time
eccentric, Jonathan.
to help the police carry out their work, then that's a good thing and it should be encouraged so long as there's a line between volunteers and roles that require training or are dangerous.
Maybe he'd like to send his toddler down to wash a police car then.
You see, some people say the role of property recovery volunteer sounds like a core part of the job of a detective who should investigate a burglary.
Well, what are you going to do if you're going to go? Say, for example, if you volunteered to do this, I assume you wouldn't because you're far too busy.
Yes,
but
I am
if you went to
actually,
some
yes.
car boot sale and said, "Oh, look, there's a stolen item that I've got on my list here," and the person selling it then suddenly turns nasty and says,
Well,
"How
that's
dare
right.
you accuse me of stealing
Yeah,
that?"
that's right,
And then some punch-up begins.
I can
and then the police get called.
I can see.
And then there's even more police work.
I can see the problems. Nevertheless,
I think it's an idiotic idea.
Nevertheless, I hate seeing dirty police cars. To me, a dirty police car is a
I
sign
haven't seen
of
a dirty police car.
of an inefficient police force.
You're not going to tell me. You're not going to tell me that the police don't have time to wash their own cars.
Apparently, they don't these days. But I mean, again, you've got to understand that all these public bodies are making out that they're being strangled to birth, at birth by so-called, budget cuts.
Right.
Well, in fact, it's proven that the police today have a budget in this country billions of pounds greater than it was 8 years ago.
Well, how about this for an idea?
Yeah.
Why not say to the police officers who are on patrol, look, while you're out there on patrol, which they're not very often anyway, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't really do that
I
very
see
much
a few
anymore.
more police on patrol these days.
Well,
actually,
you
in
do
Surrey.
now. I think now, since maybe what's happened in Paris and all the rest of it. But why don't you say to them, I'll tell you what, why don't you pop down to the local, car wash, which is probably more than likely being run by some Eastern European guys, right?
Oh, yeah, usually, yeah.
Give them the car for 20 minutes, have a chat to them. They might actually give you some information which might lead to, the
stolen property being recovered.
Stolen property being recovered, or they might be able to say, oh, this car came in, or that car came in.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, it might be quite useful for them to have, a contact in the community.
Indeed.
And, they can, pay maybe a reduced rate to get their car washed.
Yeah, well, maybe.
The idea of using my kids to wash a police car is ludicrous.
Well, I think it's a good idea.
Ludicrous.
I think it's a good idea. I think it's good to involve people, in the crime recovery business.
What are you talking about? No, you don't. I don't think that's true.
No, I do.
No, I've sent out this picture of you without the beard. I'm getting some quite interesting comebacks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Even I haven't seen it. Where did you get it from?
Well, here it is. It was sent to me. It's there. You look hideous.
Oh, that's after I had my beard shaved off.
Yeah, I know. That's
look how white my face looks there.
You look absolutely hideous. Who's that in the background? Is that David Ginola?
Let me have a look. Hang on a sec.
It looks like David Ginola in the background.
Have a look. That is David, my great friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, my face looks all white where my beard has been.
It looks horrendous. Yeah, give it back to me so I can read the comments below.
Dear me, it must have been in the summer and I must have had a bit of a tan on the rest of my face.
Well,
you
I
know
think
what
it's a few years ago, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Well, here's what some people are saying. Holy moly, must be photoshopped. Would be 18th certificate otherwise.
Hey.
Luke says definitely better with a beard. Rob says he looks like one of the Wurzels.
Oh, that's very nice, isn't it? Thank you very much
Mr. 13
indeed.
says, very nice, Mr. Parry. I would say it takes 8 years off your appearance.
Yeah, could you...
It was probably 8 years ago.
Yeah, could you please remember that I did that for charity, OK? And I think I raised about 500 quid.
Did you?
For some charity.
Did Alan Brazil make it 1,000?
Last weekend, I gave £1,000 to charity. I mean, my charitable work is just not recognised because I don't like to talk about it very often.
No, I've heard you don't like to talk about it. Matthew has noticed something interesting. He says he looks about 5 stone lighter, but he's still wearing the same bloody shirt.
No.
You are. You're wearing exactly the same shirt on this picture as you're wearing now.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
It is, look, it's the same shirt.
Let me have a look
It's
here.
the same shirt.
It is not
the same shirt.
It is not the same shirt.
What do you think, Ben? Isn't that the same shirt?
It's not the same shirt at all.
Very similar.
It's not. It may be similar.
It's a Ralph Lauren shirt.
I have a wardrobe.
It's got a blue sort of overview with a white check.
I have a wardrobe full of Ralph Lauren blue polo shirts. Believe me, that is not the same shirt. I never keep them for more than a year, and then I give them away.
Who'd you give them to?
I give them to the British Heart Foundation shop in the High Street. What's your problem?
Why would they want your old tatty old shirts?
They're not tatty. I don't wear them after a year.
Every shirt you've got is tatty.
No, it's not. I haven't got any tatty shirts. I gave them 2 pairs of trainers
What size
recently.
do you tell them they are when you give them to them?
They're usually X or something. You know what I mean?
What?
X.
X what?
X.
Why can't you just tell them the shirt size?
Well, they don't have a shirt size. They're just X.
You're the only person who doesn't know his own shirt size.
I do know my shirt size. But
what is it then?
X.
X?
Yes. Yeah.
So you go to a shop and say, I'd like a nice pink shirt, please. And they go, what size? And you go, X.
I haven't got any pink shirts.
And then later they call the police.
Oh, you idiot. Honestly, I don't know what you're going on about. The shirt size...
What collar size is it?
What?
What collar size is it?
You don't buy shirts by collar
Yes,
size
you do.
anymore. You don't. You buy them by X.
X?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. We'll get to the bottom of it soon.
No, there's nothing to get to the bottom of. Oh, God. What's your problem? What's going on around here?
Porky's lies have been exposed, and they will continue to be in the next hour.
Talk Sport on DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. The enduring home of football.
It's modern radio, only better.
Talk Sport.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics, and of course there will be a podcast coming out a little bit later on. James says this, Mike Parry looks 20 years older without the beard.
That's a bit harsh,
which
isn't
is
it?
probably not quite correct.
Most people say I look about 8 years younger.
Yeah, Irishman says, Porky means well. I feel sorry for him at times. He's a gentleman, but Ireland is not part of the British Isles. Plank, he's still going on about that.
It is part of the British Isles, but we won't go. Now then, it says here, if you walk into any reputable fashion brand and ask for size X, they'll ask for their security guard. What on earth are you talking about?
Yeah.
And this guy here called Westrin, very strange name, says, I work in the fashion industry and we make our dress shirts by collar size, as do all of our competitors.
There you go.
What on earth is size X?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's the size I take on my shirt.
Nobody knows. Horatio...
I find X inside most shirts that I buy in very reputable stores.
You sure it's not XXL?
No, it's not, no.
Horatio says, you look like Rick Wakeman from the prog rock band Yes.
Rick Wakeman,
yeah. Without the beard.
He had a problem. Wasn't he married to Cher?
No, I don't think so.
He was.
Cher? No.
He was.
Rick Wakeman?
Yeah, and she divorced him because they went out for dinner and he was sort of bladderated and he ended up face down in a bowl of spaghetti.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I'm told, anyway. That's what I believe.
Here's one from Roy who says, so Porky thinks it's okay for other people's kids to wash cop cars and investigate missing items. Why doesn't he fund the washes himself?
Well, I mean, you can't do everything. I tell you what, once I was driving towards my Gosport pad, right? And you have to go around like a one-way system on the edge of Gosport.
Yeah.
And there was a sign outside this very respectable sort of middle-class house, you know?
Yeah.
And it said, car wash, £3.
Oh, right. So was this just a sort of an individual enterprise?
Well, it was it was a great little story, really, and there were 2 little girls sitting on the garden wall.
Yeah.
So I thought, it is enterprising, isn't it? You know, so I kind of
stopped. A bit like those kids in America that you see selling lemonade out front of their house.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, same sort of
Girl
thing.
Scout cookies. And all that.
So I kind of stopped and I said, "Oh, hello," and they were aged about sort of 12 or 13, something like that, you know. And I said, so you're washing cars? He said, oh, yeah. And they sort of said, you know, put your car on the driveway. And I said, well, hang on. is your mum here? And
Yeah.
she was.
Yeah.
And she came out. She said, "Oh yeah, you know, do you mind? They're just trying to earn some holiday money." And I said, "No, not at all." And so they came out, and instead of using like an industrial hose or something, they had what would it have been?
Like a garden hose, you mean?
No, it was
a bucket.
No, it was a hose with something on the end that sprayed the wheels, but I'm trying to remember what it was.
Well, it would have been. Well, you can get those jet hoses, can't you?
Yeah, jet hose. It was a little jet hose.
Little different sort of attachment.
That's right, a jet hose. Sorry, I think her mother said they cleaned the driveway with it normally, you know.
Yeah.
So I cleaned the wheels and all that. And they spent about, 15 or 20 minutes cleaning my car. And I thought it was so enterprising. I gave them £20, actually.
20?
Yeah.
And how much were they charging?
£3.
You see, that's over the odds, that.
Well, no, but I mean, I was so impressed at their initiative.
But you see, the problem with that is that they will now go, well, we would have had to wash 7 cars to get 20 quid.
Yeah, no,
now we're not going to bother washing any more.
Well,
we'll take the rest of the day off.
That's all right. That's enterprise, isn't it?
Surely that encourages, laziness.
I thought it was great. I love to see an initiative like that, and I think, when kids do that, they deserve a reward instead of going around moaning and whinging and sticking their hand out to their parents all the time saying, give.
Well, Carl says
give me.
One of the jobs that police have to do is maintain equipment and keep up with the housekeeping of their vehicles. That is plain laziness. And he says, as a lorry driver, it is also our duty, would be irresponsible to let someone else do it for us. Bloody police penny pinching. I think they're just trying to get somebody to wash their cars on the cheap.
I think it's probably another moan about budgets and all that kind of stuff.
What if they ended up hiring somebody for free who was a nefarious character who wanted to somehow plant something on the police car? Or stick a bug on it or something.
Yeah, or sabotage a police car, something like that.
Lee says, MG living in a pad with a coin meter shows he's the true man of the people on the show. Which I think is good.
Say again, sorry?
The fact that I lived in a house with a coin meter shows that I was a true man. Did you never live in a house where you had to put money in the electricity meter? You must have done at some point.
I don't
Surely.
think I did.
I mean, a lot of rented properties in London, this would have been, I'm talking about like the late 70s when I started renting flats. A lot of them had coin-operated
I don't think I ever did.
electricity because they didn't trust the people to, pay the electricity bill.
I think I lived in houses with other people when I was a young journalist in Newcastle and places like that.
Yeah, well, so did I.
And we didn't have coin meters. In fact, there was one idiot in there.
Well, how did you pay the electricity bill?
You paid it quarterly. It came into the house.
Yeah, but I mean, quite often the landlords would say the reason we've installed a meter is because people left without paying the bill or something like that.
Well, no, it didn't work like that. But I'll tell you what happened. There was one idiot boy in there. In fact, he's still around. And God knows what age he is now. But I see his name on a column.
Better not say his name then.
Where
do you see his name?
On a column every Monday morning in the back page and the sports page of the Times, and he does a roundup column for Division 1 and a roundup column for Division 2.
In the Times?
Yeah, it's only about 250 words each one. His name's John Wardle, actually. And
John Wardle?
Yeah.
I think I know him.
Yeah, and he's a lad, he was from Bolton or Bury or somewhere like that.
Right.
Worked on the Evening Chronicle in Newcastle, ended up working on the sports desk of the Sunday Sun, then became a sports writer.
Right.
And then, obviously, as his career sort of came to its twilight or whatever, and I'm sure he had a very successful career.
Right.
He got this gig to write a couple of columns a week as a roundup for the Times, which is great, no problem. I'm glad he's still working. But what I was going to say about John was, he's a very nice chap and all that. He used to insist on leaving the immersion heater switch on all day long and all night long. And so I sort of pointed out to him that, in my house when I grew up, my mum would never put the immersion heater on for more than 10 minutes a day because it was so expensive.
Yeah, right.
And because we didn't have any central heating, so she had to warm up the water. And he said, no. He said, that's not the case at all. He said, I've been told by experts that if you keep switching this on and switching it off, it'll be very, very costly.
Yeah.
If you leave it on all the time, you get economy rate electricity.
Okay.
And then the bill came in, and it was so massive in the first quarter.
If you've got those very old-fashioned electric boilers, it's a nightmare.
Absolutely. In the first quarter, it was more than the combined salary of the three of us who lived in the house. Honest to God.
You should have had a meter. It'd have been going round and round like mad.
I mean, what would we earn in those days? About 30 quid a week, seriously. Right. And it was well over £100, this electricity bill. And we couldn't pay it.
Yeah.
We had to go and borrow money off the Evening Chronicle in Newcastle to pay the electricity
that's
bill.
Exactly why a lot of landlords put these in. I'm surprised, in fact, that you, in your slum landlord state, don't put meters into some of the tenants that you've got.
Don't need to these days, to be honest, because everybody plays by direct debit and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Now, here's one from Laurie the Hammer. It says, Porky, mate, it was Greg Allman that Cher married.
Oh, was it? All right, sorry about that.
Yeah, according to
in
what
that case, I better apologise to Rick Wakeman.
He has been married 4 times, though.
Oh, was it?
He's got
okay,
6 6 children. He married
Right.
Rosaline Wolford.
Yeah.
They had 2 sons in the 70s, and
Yes.
then they divorced in 77. He then married studio secretary Danielle Corminboeuf in the West Indies. They had
Yes.
1 son. He had a daughter with former Page 3 model Nina Carter. They married in 1984.
Yeah.
Then he had a renewal of his Christian faith. Around the time of his marriage to Carter.
Yeah.
They divorced in 2004.
Yeah.
And he then had a daughter with his longtime friend, designer and seamstress, Denise Gandrup.
Right, there you go.
And then in 2011, he married Rachel Kaufman.
Oh, so is that 4 or 5?
That's 4 wives, but 5 women with 4 women with whom he had children, and 4 wives.
4 wives, but a total of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see, yeah.
He suffered 3 heart attacks in his 20s.
Really?
So I think he was having quite a good
quite a bit
time.
of a problem there, yeah, okay. Listen, I've got something very much in common with Jeremy Paxman.
Have you?
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, actually, I was going to wait and tell
You've
you
been
this
retired.
till after the break, okay?
Well, we haven't got time, have we?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
what
read
I
you
mean.
this. I'll
Even
read
I
you
knew
this
that
from.
this time.
Read you this from.
Yeah.
Well, see, it's already sinking in. Winford says, "Well, Mr. Parry, you can't get size X. It's S, M, L, XL, XXL, XXXL, XXXXL, XXXXL. You got it wrong again.
No, I haven't got it wrong.
There is no X.
Well, there is in my Shirtland.
John from Durham says X. What? XS, XL, or XM? Extra massive.
No. It's not XN. It's just X.
We'll investigate further. Okay, you're going to tell me about Jerry Paxman.
Yes.
That's all coming up next on TalkSport.
Hi, Susie Perry here, Queen of Tech and Car Lover. If you're looking for a Christmas gift for someone who loves their car, treat them to the gift that keeps on giving. No, not a stick-on air freshener, a digital radio in their car. They'll get all their favourite stations plus extra digital stations. There are lots of digital radios and adapters ready to fit into any car.
To find out how to get digital radio in your car, visit your local car dealer, car accessory retailer or Halfords and look for the digital tick.
If you love radio, give digital.
Football to Amsterdam 2016 is a 2-day cycle challenge to help beat prostate cancer. Visit prostatecanceruk.org/Amsterdam to find out more.
This unmissable offer on a brand new Mercedes-Benz E-Class might just remind you of the other things in life you really shouldn't miss, like your departure time,
This is the final call.
the first school play, or your team's winning goal. So don't miss this opportunity to get hold of a Mercedes-Benz E-Class for only £349 a month. Search Mercedes-Benz offers to find out more. Unmissable offers from Mercedes-Benz.
Business users only on an E220 Bluetech SE Saloon 36-month Mercedes-Benz contract hire. £349 per month. Advance payment £1,047. All payments exclude VAT at 20%. Conditions apply. Credit approvals by the 31st of December. 10,000 miles per annum. No ownership option.
There are some smart cookies out there that have already discovered Talk Mobile. Our new SIM-only plans are better than ever before and now start from just £5 a month. If you need lots of data, then we've cut the price of our 2GB plan, which includes 3,000 minutes and 5,000 texts, all for just £10 a month. Be bold, be daring, discover Talk Mobile. UK data use calls to standard UK mobiles and landlines. 12-month contract and credit check apply. Go to talkmobile.co.uk.
Drive on Talk Sport, the UK's only sports-dedicated drive time with Sky Sports. The sharpest analysis on all the day's action.
To say I'm angry is an understatement.
Laser-guided comment and rapid reaction from a nation of sports fanatics.
I don't like listening to him, I'll turn off.
Drive home with Darren Gough and Adrian Durham, weekday afternoons from 4 on Talk Sport with Sky Sports. The home of the Barclays Premier League for the next 4 seasons.
Saturday afternoon from 5:30. Exclusive national radio commentary of Chelsea versus Bournemouth. Barclays Premier League live on Talk Sport.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics. Don't worry, you haven't changed channels and finally found yourself listening to Newsnight. But of course, you want to talk about Jeremy Paxman.
Well, that's all I was going to say.
Great cycling aficionado, Mr. Paxman.
Is he? Is he? Yeah, and also he's got a country house near the Prime Minister, hasn't he? In the same county or some.
What, up in Oxfordshire?
Well, I think it's more Cotswolds, isn't it?
Yeah, okay.
Something like that. You know.
Yeah.
And we haven't got a great deal in common, I have to say, over the years. But he's launching a new war on litter, which I very, very much support. Jeremy Paxman has branded Britain a rubbish dump, and he says it depresses me. Now, the former Newsnight presenter has started a new campaign. He says millions in this country are sick to the back teeth of the country's chronic litter problems.
That's true, actually.
It is absolutely true. I do it every day. In fact, I was out picking up litter today, believe it or not, and I do it most days, but I do it particularly on a Tuesday.
Why?
because that's when the bin men come and they leave half the litter in the street.
Right, but that's not really their fault, is it?
Well, if they were, if they marshalled the bins that they tip into the back of these huge trucks,
but aren't people supposed to put only black bagged bin liners into the bins?
No, not in ours because it's a communal one. Everything goes in
really?
there, you know. Yeah. Anyway.
But you surely don't put things in the big bin that aren't in a bag, though, and tied up.
You do.
Do you?
Oh, loads of people do.
Do you do that?
No, I don't.
That should be
mine is tied up.
Well, that should be the campaign.
Well, people do.
Don't just throw loose litter in the bin.
But also the bin, the bin bags burst, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, and it comes out.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's a patron of an anti-litter group called Clean Up Britain. And he said that it's abundantly clear the threat of being fined is simply not enough of a deterrent. Government needs now to put litter higher on their agenda and get some proper laws.
Yeah.
He says that he's spoken to experts who say that litter on UK streets costs £1 billion a year to clear up.
Yeah. But surely if it gets cleared up, then there wouldn't be so much of it around. And everywhere you go, there's litter everywhere.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, in my street, which is, without sounding pompous, it is a very typically upper-middle-class street in the home counties.
Yeah.
And for 100 yards either way to my property, there is no litter.
Right.
And that's largely because I go out and collect it early in the morning.
How much are you talking about?
Night.
I mean, how much do you collect?
I take out a black bag and I'll pick up things like discarded cans.
Yeah.
People, believe it or not, drink in the street and throw a can away.
I know.
They just throw it onto the
Shocking.
pavement.
Yeah.
Crisp packets.
Well, also damaging your car if you run over it. Possibly.
Yes, absolutely. No, it's absolutely true. Plastic bottles are always there, squashed under by cars.
Yeah.
The wrapper thrown away around a sandwich that somebody's bought, you know what I mean? Sandwich, loads and loads of packets of cigarettes and all that kind of stuff. And I go out and I pick it up. And in fact, I've even got one of those gripper type things, you know what I mean?
I remember you used one of those when we did the mid-morning show and you went out and picked some litter up.
That's right, yeah.
It's a bit of a sad thing to do, to be honest.
Well, if I didn't do it, nobody would.
Yeah.
So you say it's sad.
But all you're doing is a drop in the ocean, isn't it, really?
Yeah, but I want to keep the air in front of my property clean. But what I object to is other people who have litter in front of their property, sometimes in their own hedge, sometimes in their own garden, who don't make any effort to clear it up.
Yeah.
These are disgusting people.
They are. Well, anybody who litters is a disgusting individual.
I totally agree. You see kids walking along, right, because I can see from my penthouse location, sometimes in the summer when I'm leaning over the balcony and all that, you see kids walking along, because there are some kids who come from a school at one end of the street and go down to the bus at the other, and they're literally swinging from a can, and when they've finished, they toss it over a hedge into somebody's garden.
That's shocking, isn't it?
Or they drop it onto the pavement, and I've often had to shout down and say, you left your can behind, you know, or something like that.
And what do they do? What's their reaction?
Oh, they make a rude gesture.
Stick two fingers up to you.
Yeah, or shout abuse at me or something and just walk off.
That's awful, isn't it?
That is disgusting.
I mean, what sort of parental example must be being set if that's what the kids are doing? I mean, I have occasionally caught one of my little kids doing something like that and give them such a hard time that they don't do it again.
Exactly, I totally agree.
Because that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of TalkSport's emails and texts to read out to you. William says, when Mick McCarthy comes on, perhaps Porky could do a duet with him.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good
great,
idea.
isn't it? They picked up on that thing that we did the other day. Somebody sent in something saying, presenting the Mike Parry fish finger pizza.
Yeah.
There's a picture of a pizza with fish fingers on it.
No, I wouldn't eat that, no. I like my fish fingers quite distinct from pizza, thank you.
Oh, right. James says, in Spain, the police pop into cafes and tapas bars for a coffee or whatever, thus showing a police presence and keeping their ears open. Well, they do that in America as well. I mean, they're famous, the police, aren't they, for dropping into Dunkin' Donuts.
That's right, yeah.
And that's where you can always find them.
Yeah, well, they drop into the kebab shop round the corner. In fact, there's a huge police van there tonight, and a load of policemen around. Now then, did you know that November, the one just gone, according to my informant at the Met Office, was the dullest...
Your informant?
Yes. The dullest November on record.
Dullest?
It was the dullest November.
You mean with the least sunshine?
Least sunshine.
Yeah.
It had...
Why have you got an informant at the Met Office?
Because I like to know what's happening with the rain and the weather. Now, it had only 18.4 hours of sunshine. And the problem with that is that then triggers this SAD problem.
Yeah,
that
you don't
people
suffer
have.
from that, though, do you?
No, I don't suffer
You quite
from
like it when it's not sunny.
I love it when it's not sunny.
Yeah.
I like an overcast sky.
Do you know it's going to be very cold in Scotland? Did you hear the weather forecast earlier?
No, what was it?
There might be snow up there this weekend.
What?
There might be snow.
I've got to get back fast on
Scotland.
Sunday.
Well, we've got to worry about that. I mean, I'm only worried about getting there, to be honest.
Yeah.
You're worried about getting back.
Of course
that's the difference between you and I. most important thing to me is the two Mike show which we're doing on Saturday night.
Yeah, and me.
No, well, you just said you're worried about getting back.
Well, I've got to get back because I'm doing a Clash of the Titans on Sunday afternoon.
I couldn't care less about that.
Well, I could care less about it because I have standards.
I'm not involved in that.
I have standards
Well, perhaps you should have turned it down and said you were going to be stuck in Glasgow because of the snow.
No, you wanted me to turn it down so I can go out on the bladderation trail with you all night Saturday through Glasgow.
I couldn't care less.
You won't find me bouncing off walls in Sauchiehall Street, mate, on the early hours of Sunday morning.
I won't be bouncing off walls.
I'll be preparing to get back here and do another show because that's what I was put on this planet to do, OK?
Yeah, all right. Well, now then, if you had any real stamina, you wouldn't have to go to bed quite so early.
Well, I do.
Considering you don't sleep, I don't know why you go to bed so early.
Yeah, that is a contradiction in terms. I agree. Now then, Dr. Roger Brugge. Roger Brugge.
Roger who?
Brugge.
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 Is this your informant?
He is. No, he's not my informant, but he's an expert meteorologist at the University of Reading.
Oh yeah.
Has said that during November we would normally expect about 63 hours of sunshine. And in the past 60 years, only December 1956 with 7.8 hours and December 2010 with 13.4 hours have been duller than this month's November 2015, who only had really few hours.
20 or something?
Eh?
Was it 20? You're saying we should have had
18.4.
Yeah, 18.4. That's a pretty good guess.
Yeah.
And we should have had 63.
Should have had 63.
So less than a third of the sunshine worked then.
Yeah, he says it was low cloud, kept the sun hidden from view, but it meant it was warmer because the low cloud is like a blanket over the earth.
Well, there was a lot of fog, wasn't there? Do you remember?
Yeah, there was.
And that would have contributed to the dullness of it.
Yeah. Now, the problem is the lack of sunshine contributes to depression of victims who suffer seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah, but you don't suffer from that.
No, I don't.
And neither do I.
No, I don't.
So why are we talking about it?
Well, because I feel sorry for people who...
You don't feel sorry for anyone.
I do.
You do not feel sorry for anyone.
I feel sorry for people who get sad because it's dull. I like it when it's dull. I don't like it when it's bright.
You get sad when it's bright?
Yeah, I do, because it hurts my eyes.
I've never seen you wearing sunglasses. Do you have sunglasses?
I can't wear sunglasses because I can't actually distinguish shapes through sunglasses, even very expensive ones like I've got.
What if you get prescription sunglasses?
I have got them. I've got 2 pairs of prescription sunglasses.
Really?
Yeah.
What, and you can't see?
Well, I can't see much, no.
Why?
I don't
know.
know.
It must be the wrong prescription then.
No, it's not. I don't know what it is.
Are they very old glasses?
No.
I mean, you're sure there's prescriptions up to date?
Oh, absolutely up to date. Yeah, every time
I've got prescription sunglasses, which I find very, very good to drive with, for example.
I know. But you wear them on stage as well, you see, and that will damage your eyes.
Why?
Well, because if you deprive your eyes of natural light...
Well, there is no natural light on stage.
I mean, one reason why a lot of these pop stars now wear sort of, half... shaded glasses is because their eyesight's been so badly damaged by spending a lifetime...
Looking into searchlights?
No, a lifetime
Spotlights even.
in doing concerts in nightclubs and dark places wearing sunglasses.
No.
So they've deprived their eyes of light.
No, it's not
true.
The reason their eyes are damaged is because the spotlight's been shining on them for so long.
That's not true.
And it's actually damaged the retina.
It's not true.
Yeah, it is.
It's not true.
You sit there on the stage with the bright lights shining into your face. And I prefer to have sunglasses on.
No, honestly, that is not true. It's because they walk around trying to be cool and wearing sunglasses.
Right.
Listen, I'm beginning to talk to you about...
Let me just read you a couple of things out about the electric meters.
Okay.
Geordie Jeff says, my electricity meters were phased out years ago after the collectors were regularly mugged of their money bags by the local hoodlums.
Well, that's true.
So it's not a good idea for Porky to get any cash that way. And
true.
Sean says, it used to feel like Christmas when the gas man came to empty the meter. 50p's everywhere when I was a kid.
Well, why? Who did they give the 50p's to?
Well, they probably just opened the thing and they all fell out, didn't they?
Yeah.
And maybe the kids snaffled a few of them, I don't know.
What, you mean stole them?
Well, possibly, yeah.
Well, that's ridiculous. That's outrageous. You don't steal from the people.
But now
who
they have
provide you
cars,
gas.
don't they? Now, because I used to, when I first moved
Cars,
to Hastings, and I lived in what can only be described as not a particularly salubrious area.
Yes.
People would go into shops and get their electricity card charged.
It's true.
And then, so they would say, rather than putting money in a meter, you put the card in.
That's right, absolutely right. Listen, what I was going to say to you was, all week I've been meaning to talk to you about a guy called Gerry Byrne.
Gerry Byrne?
Gerry Byrne. He was a Liverpool fullback. He played in the 1965 FA Cup final.
Yeah, I think he died recently, didn't he?
I was about to say he did, yeah, unfortunately. I was watching that with my dad, and after about...
with the dad with whom you have no pictures.
Exactly, of whom I have no pictures.
Maybe Gerry Byrne's got some pictures with him.
Why would Gerry Byrne have
Well, I don't know. Did he know him?
No, he didn't know him.
Oh, okay.
He was a footballer for Liverpool, and it was just as the Shankly Revolution was taking place in Liverpool. And we were watching it at home on our black and white telly. And after about 20 minutes, my dad said, that Gerry Byrne, that fullback, he keeps holding his... With his left arm, he's holding his right arm, you know. And I said, well, I don't know, perhaps he's banged his arm. Anyway, it turned out after the game he'd broken his collarbone.
Really?
And he played throughout the rest of the FA Cup final, the broken collarbone. That's what he was famous for.
Well, there was goalkeepers who played with broken necks, wasn't there?
Well, they didn't know it was broken. Bert Troutman, you talked about in Manchester City, but he didn't know it was broken.
But he did play with it, though.
He was amazed. He didn't paralyse himself, playing on in that sort of condition.
Didn't Lev Yashin play with a broken neck as well? At some point or other?
No, he didn't, no. Lev Yashin played till he was 41.
Yeah.
He was captain of Russia, but he never had a broken neck.
Dazza says, if there's one person in the world who's an expert on dullness, it is the Porkmeister. Hashtag plunk.
I'm not going to respond to that. Getting back to Gerry Byrne, right? The guy who ran on the pitch when he first went down with this injury was a young trainer called Bob Paisley.
Oh, was he?
Right? Isn't that amazing?
From the boot room.
From the boot room in 1965. The defender was in agony after being barged into by Leeds United captain Bobby Collins. Bobby Collins was a little Scotsman.
Yes,
okay,
remember him,
with wiry hair. In the opening exchanges. So it happened after the first few minutes. So Liverpool trainer Bob Paisley on the pitch, but it was evidence that the magic sponge wasn't rejuvenating the left-back.
Well, surely he should have recommended that he was taken off, but he couldn't do that in those days.
He had no substitutes. There were no substitutes. Paisley immediately discovered he'd broken his collarbone. Byrne said to him, don't tell anybody. Paisley nodded, bandaged him up and gave him an aspirin.
Yeah.
In excruciating pain and with my arm dangling motionless by my side, Byrne played on for another 87 minutes of normal time and 30 minutes of extra time. It was extra time, by the way. Extra time, providing the cross from which Roger Hunt scored the first goal. Liverpool won 2-1. His courage that day became part of the club's folklore. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. And an awful lot of players used to play through that kind of pain back then in those days as well.
Yeah.
Wouldn't happen now, of course. And, of course, it's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, coming up next, I hope you're prepared because it is time for Porkyvision.
On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
The pressure's on now.
Relieve the itch. Talk Sport.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics. There will, of course, be a podcast coming out. There will be a Porky quiz tomorrow on the subject of Ravi Burns. Right now, though, it's time for one of the highlights of the week for Mr. Parry to tell us all about what he's been watching. You're all right.
Yeah.
And what recommendations he may have.
Right.
Last week you were fixated with cuffs, I seem to remember. Which
Cuffs,
I've seen a few trailers for. I haven't watched it, actually, this week.
Good.
I haven't seen any stills of Inspector Gimp, I have to say.
No, there aren't many of them. But he's there, believe me. He's there.
Oh, okay. So what have you got for us this week?
Now then, new programme, Dr. Blake Mysteries, 1950s Australian drama, okay?
Yeah.
Coming back for the third time, very popular.
Oh, so it's the third series?
Third series.
Dr. Blake's Mysteries?
The Dr. Blake Mysteries,
I haven't heard about that.
No, I hadn't heard about it, actually. So I'm going to have a look at it and see what it's like.
Is it on BBC or something?
Well, the problem is, you see, it's daytime, 2:15 p.m. BBC show.
Oh, is it?
Very odd time to have a popular show on.
All right.
But that's the time it's on.
Is it after that show, The Doctors, which is a ludicrous programme? The only reason I sometimes see that is because I tend to wake up about that time.
Really?
After I've had a little snooze in the morning.
I'm not sure, mate.
I watch the BBC News at 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
and then this idiotic show called Doctors comes on.
No, I don't know.
Which is all about how, these doctors are all involved in all sorts of scandal. And
yeah,
there's not a lot of medical stuff.
Now then, I tell you what I was going to watch.
What were you going to watch?
I was going to watch the world's most famous train. The Venice Simplon Orient Express.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever been on that?
No. Have you?
No, my mother has, though.
I see it parked in Victoria Station all the time, right? Yeah. And I go down and have a look at it, and I've walked on it and had a look around. It looks very cramped and small to me.
Well, I mean, you'd have to like the odd... I mean, you like the long train journey. It'd be quite nice, I'm sure.
Yeah. Now, it's got 17 carriages.
Yeah.
All made out of 1920s-style decor.
Yeah. It's kind of Agatha Christie-style thing, isn't it?
It's Agatha Christie. All over.
Murder on the Orient Express.
Murder on the Orient Express, OK?
I'm sure that's why a lot of people go on it.
They do, yeah. And all the guys dress up in, 1920s uniforms and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I suppose it's worth watching a little bit. I haven't had a lot of time to watch a lot of TV, you see, this week.
Haven't you?
So I'm just sort of picking out things that are probably quite good. You know what I mean?
OK. So what are you saying? You haven't seen anything at all?
Well, I haven't had the time to see a lot. Now, there's a great programme called The Last Flight of the Vulcan Bomber.
I thought you might have turned your attention to Piers Morgan's appearances on Good Morning Britain.
Well, I saw...
Have you not seen any of that?
No, but I read a review in The Sun by... Who's that great Sun TV reviewer?
Ali Thingy.
Ali Ross.
Ali Ross, yeah.
Who said...
He puts the oaf into sofa.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well done. That's it. The oaf into sofa. I saw that bit there. Now, this...
and Piers, of course, typically then responded on Twitter by saying surely it was a spelling mistake. What he meant to say was he puts the oof into sofa.
Yes, that's right. Into sofa. Yeah, that's right. Now...
No, that doesn't make the joke.
What?
No, that's a step too far then.
What do you mean?
It's not the oof into sofa. It's the oof into sofa.
But there is no oof in sofa.
Yeah, I know, but you can't make the... you can't take it too many steps past.
I see, okay, yeah.
And it's not funny,
Don't quite get that one.
No.
Right, now, yes, I was going to watch the last flight of the Vulcan bomber, okay?
Yeah.
Now, have you ever seen the Vulcan bomber?
Valkyries.
No, have you ever seen the Vulcan bomber?
Not only have I seen the Vulcan bomber, I could show you a little video recording I made of the Vulcan bomber because it flew over Hastings one Saturday when I was not expecting it to do so.
Right.
And it was a magnificent thing to see.
I saw it in Bournemouth. And it's amazing. And the noise it makes and the rumble.
Yeah, the noise was incredible.
Yeah,
it was flying really low.
Yeah.
And looking at it, you couldn't actually imagine how something that big could even fly.
I totally agree. How would it get off the ground?
Yeah.
You know it can't glide if the engines pack up.
Is that right?
It's the only thing that it can't do.
I mean, it's like a big Concorde, isn't it?
It is a big Concorde. Anyway, it's called the Vulcan bomber, the XH558.
Yeah.
It's on a farewell tour of Britain.
Yeah.
So as I'd actually seen it in reality, I didn't bother watching the programme. I thought, what's the point?
Yeah, well...
I've seen the main thing.
But, I mean, I wonder for people who haven't seen the programme or the Vulcan bomber, whether it would be worth watching.
Maybe. Now, Monty Don is a guy who does all this secret history of the British Garden.
Yeah.
I didn't see that either.
Yeah, he's a gardener.
Yeah, I missed that. Now, one or two things which I'm going to catch up on.
Yeah.
There was this programme called Capital. And it's about middle-class London neighbourhood where something goes wrong. What is it?
What goes wrong?
Well, I'm not sure. Is there a burglary or something? I don't know.
Is it fictitious or?
Yeah, well, it's
documentary.
No, it's fictitious. Oh, I tell you what, I was going to see. Now you might be able to advise on this.
Yeah.
Loch Lomond, A Year in the Wild.
Loch Lomond, you mean?
Yeah.
Loch Lomond.
Yeah, and it was these naturalists went out as winter closes in on Loch Lomond.
Loch Lomond.
Loch Lomond.
Yeah.
And watching all the stags.
The Bonnie Banks.
The Bonnie
Do you know
Banks.
there's an island in the middle of Loch Lomond?
Is there an island? Yes.
Well, there are several islands, but there's one particular island, which is full of wallabies.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, last night...
What do you mean, okay?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Register any kind of surprise at what I just said?
Yeah, wallabies. Yeah, lots of wallabies.
Well, why
in
would
the
there
world.
be wallabies in the middle of Loch Lomond?
Because they must have escaped from some guy.
Nobody
from
knows
Australia
how they got there.
Well,
they're not native to Scotland.
No, I know, but some traveller from Australia must have brought them over. Now,
well, there's no person that's ever lived on the island. How did they get to the island?
Oh, I don't know. Now,
you've got no interest in anything I say, have you?
Yes, I have.
I mean, this is the most interesting part of Porkyvision I've just told you.
I'm trying to do my TV review.
Okay.
Trying to do my TV review.
Well, I was trying to hope you might have prepared better for it.
I have prepared, but I've been busy this week. Now, I'm trying to tell you about these programmes, okay?
Yeah, go on.
Now, the other one, what was it again? It was something to do with... Oh, I know what I saw today.
Yeah.
The High Chaparral.
The High Chaparral.
And again, it was...
Blue Boy?
Yeah, Blue Boy and all that. But again, it was mad because there's like 127 cowboys on the High Chaparral Ranch and one woman called Victoria.
Well, she's the wife of the guy that owns it, isn't she?
Big John.
Yeah, Big John, yeah. And nobody messes around with Victoria, but she's rather a sultry woman, as I recall.
No, she's a very attractive Spanish woman.
Yeah.
Now, the point is...
Black-haired, right?
Yeah. Now, the point is, to try and make out that all these, cowboys are polite gentlemen who have a lot of respect for Victoria.
Well, no, but they have a lot of respect for the boss. That's the thing, isn't it?
Well, they're supposed to, but Big John is like a pensioner.
Yeah.
Victoria's a young woman.
Are you suggesting you might not be up to it?
Well, I'm suggesting young women have their needs, and even in the Wild West, in the cowboy era, there was Rogerisation going on all over the place,
Certainly was.
And if you're telling me that, the boys, who drive the cattle and all this, didn't go into the nearest town. Mind you, I think the nearest town to High Chaparral is about 800 miles away.
But did they not go into the nearest town for that purpose?
I don't know.
Like most of them do.
But it's based in New Mexico, and I don't think there are any towns at that time in New Mexico.
Right.
I don't think Santa Fe was there or anything like that.
No.
So I reckon they all got tanked up in the old bunkhouse, and you wonder why it was called the bunkhouse. Is that where they had to bunk up? You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing.
Right.
And whether Victoria ever visited the old bunkhouse.
Or a Fromby, even, as you described it last night.
Yeah, that's right. That's a for the.
Yeah, you don't have to explain it.
No, for our listeners, that's a sexual activity from behind. That's why it's called a Fromby.
Well, why do you have to explain it?
Well, I just thought I would.
Well, it's now in common parlance.
Well, anyway.
Well.
So there was a bit of the old High Chaparral, which is nonsense. I mean, utter rubbish, and also. There's so much dust around the High Chaparral.
Yeah.
But Victoria's never got any dust on her face or anything.
No.
She always looks like she just come out of the shower.
She looks immaculate, doesn't she?
Yeah, immaculate. Yeah, with Big John.
Very comely, I think you would describe her as.
That's right.
Yeah. So what was the storyline in this particular episode?
Well, it was a ridiculous plot, wasn't it? They captured the local baddie, the guy who leads all the bad gangs,
right.
And they kept him...
But if there were no towns, I don't know where they got these people from.
I don't know where they got them from. And anyway, all his mates came and started shooting the place up and all that kind of stuff. And they kidnapped Victoria, but,
But nothing happened to her.
Well...
You do wonder, don't you?
You do.
Who was the guy that was the older sort of brother of Big John?
No, Big John couldn't have an older brother. Big John was a pensioner.
Yeah, but you remember there was a Blue Boy who was the young guy.
Blue Boy was his son,
Who was the sort of gnarled-faced one? Because I used to live in Hampstead. The only reason I say that is
really?
he used to come to that bakery that I used to talk about.
There was a few people with gnarled faces in High Chaparral.
No, but the guy always wore black.
Oh, I don't
know the guy I mean.
Yeah, I don't know his name, Anyway, no, there was a bit of that, right? Now, I also saw a bit of Avengers as well. The original Avengers?
The original Avengers.
In black and white.
Right.
Brilliant.
With Emma Peel.
Emma Peel.
Right.
Now,
Which one?
Diana Rigg.
Diana
Rigg. Now, I never fancied Diana Rigg as Emma Peel. No. To me, she was too action woman and all this kind of stuff.
I think every young man fancied Emma.
She didn't have enough feminine traits for me. You see what I mean? You know what I mean? She, but mind you, she drove around a lovely Lotus Elan car, didn't she?
She did, yeah.
And now Doctor Who is apparently it's getting better.
Is it?
It's getting 4-star ratings instead of 1 and 2.
Yeah.
People now can start understanding the
Although
plots.
Peter Capaldi has now come out and said he's not going to do so many episodes next year, and only do about 8 anyway, as it is. But he wants to have more time to do other things, apparently.
Yes. Well, anyway, in the one that I was going to watch, he was trapped in a labyrinthine castle with a terrifying, shadowy entity known only as the Veil.
I think I've seen that one. I think that's been on already.
That's it. It's the Veil. Yeah. And it's all a load of rubbish, apparently, but I don't know, because I didn't see it.
Right.
And the other...
At least you watched an episode of the High Chaparral.
I watched half an episode of the High Chaparral, and I watched half an episode of Coronation Street, in which it's the most ludicrous plot you've ever come across.
Somebody actually tweeted me earlier on tonight to say that in tonight's episode, or last night's episode, they actually had the word bladdered. And another word that we use quite frequently.
Yeah, that's excellent. The problem is I'm 3 weeks behind with Coronation Street, eh?
I think they had the word plank in it as well.
Oh, plank, OK. Well, I'm 3 weeks behind with Coronation Street because I've been too busy to watch it.
Right.
But in the one I saw... it's ludicrous because Callum is now buried beneath Gail's bedroom, and the plot gets more and more ludicrous. I think his body's disintegrating, and therefore starting to cause a bit of an odour in the bedroom. So it's not very nice.
That's horrible.
I don't like it.
I've heard enough. I've heard enough.
Yeah.
I've heard enough.
Anyway, that was Porkyvision.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. There'll be another Porkyvision same time next week. This is TalkSport.
UEFA Champions League football live on Talk Sport. Get set for another season of exhilarating European football action. Come on! Featuring full match commentaries of all the Premier League teams in action and updates and goal flashes as they hit the back of the net.
Champions of Europe again.
Plus full-on post-match phone-ins following all the action. UEFA Champions League football live on Talk Sport with Direct Line. For 5-star rated van insurance, search Direct Line Van.
This unmissable offer on a brand new Mercedes-Benz E-Class might just remind you of the other things in life you really shouldn't miss, like your departure time.
This is the final call.
The first school play. Or your team's winning goal. So don't miss this opportunity to get hold of a Mercedes-Benz E-Class for only £349 a month. Search Mercedes-Benz offers to find out more. Unmissable offers from Mercedes-Benz.
Business users only on an E220 Bluetech SE Saloon 36-month Mercedes-Benz contract hire. £349 per month. Advance payment £1,047. All payments exclude VAT at 20%. Conditions apply. Credit approvals by the 31st of December. 10,000 miles per annum. No ownership option.
I check the fixtures online. I order my pizza online. And when I want to check my sexual health, I can do that online too. The Confidant Home Test accurately checks for 10 main infections at the same time. From a single sample. It's fast, discreet, and it's 100% confidential. Order your Confidant Home STI test kit online at confidanttest.com. Results are not intended to replace medical advice and should be used as a convenient way of getting tested before consulting a GP. Age 16 plus. UK customers only. Terms and fees apply.
He's got the numbers on the players, the triumphs and defeats. Got the form on the football weekend and the rumours on the streets. Get all the stats and all the facts with his football form report. Stay on the ball on Friday night with Sky Bet and Talk Sport.
Get unmissable analysis on all the weekend's big games. Stay on the ball on Kick-Off the Players' Lounge on Talk Sport with Sky Bet. Making betting better. Cash out before the final whistle with Bet Tracker. Available now at skybet.com or download the app.
On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Talk Sport.
Now, Mr. Parry, I must say there's an awful lot of, shall we say, response and comments on your most recent Porkyvision.
Oh, yeah.
Michael has tweeted at the two mics. He says, Porkyvision was so poor, I'm confused as to why I'm laughing so hard.
What?
He says he's confused as to why he's laughing so hard.
What are you laughing at?
Well, because of your
Serious
Porkyvision.
review of...
a lot of people also have reminded us, and you should have known this really, Scotty at Drax Power Station and Bill and Laurie have all said that the man in black in High Chaparral was called Buck Cannon.
Oh, Buck.
You remember Buck?
Old Buck.
Buck,
yeah.
He was a guy that could barely he could barely walk because he was so kind of hobbled by being on a horse.
Oh, was he?
Such a lot of the time.
Really?
But he used to just kind of walk with his really bandy legs. But I used to see him in Hampstead all the time because he used to live there for some reason. Yeah, I used to think it was quite amazing.
So Big John and Buck.
Buck was his brother.
Yeah.
Bill
says
Buck
suffered from saddle soreness.
I think he did. Yeah, I think that's true. Bill says, "How the hell can you have a TV review if you don't watch anything, Porky?
Yeah.
It's embarrassing." Hi, Chaparral. Are you joking? Sean says, Porky moans about the quiz. Porkyvision was about programmes he hadn't seen and one from 50 years ago. 0 out of 10.
Well, I don't ask for votes out of 10.
No.
I just try to give it as I see it. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah. Phil says, surely the minimum requirement for a TV review is to watch some TV. Hashtag plank.
Yeah, well, when I get time, I mean, that's the problem. You see, as I said to you before, so many programmes, so little time.
I know. Well, Traveller says, Porky's TV review, I would have watched, I might have seen, I could have watched, I can't remember what I saw. I watched the High Chaparral.
Yeah. Well, I did. Well, what do you want me to do? Lie about it?
No, I think it would be very good if you'd stop lying. I think that would be good for you. Lord Rallo says, good job helping Porky out. It's never a good sign when the TV reviewer announces they haven't watched any TV.
Yeah, well, as I say, I do my best to try and catch up on things and fulfil my obligation to Porkyvision.
Yeah. Roy, with some information, says, High Chaparral was in the Arizona territory. The brother in black was bucked. John married Victoria to appease Don Montoya.
Oh, really?
Who's Don Montoya?
Must have been Victoria's father.
Oh, I guess so,
Who was the local landowner, I think. Yeah, I think that's right, I think that's right,
Exactly.
But I don't think they had much in the way of conjugal rights, Because
you wouldn't have thought that
with 120 guys around and only one Victoria. I mean, blimey,
It was a much more innocent time, though, of course, then, wasn't it?
Well, I don't think it was more innocent.
Well, I mean, in terms of television.
I mean, almost every cowboy had gonoria, didn't he?
No, well, you've said that for the second time.
Yeah,
you said
it's
Benjamin
true.
Franklin had gonorrhea.
Yeah, well, I withdrew that because I don't think he did. but almost every cowboy had gonorrhea or syphilis.
But you don't know that.
Well, you do, because they used to have these cattle drives and they'd drive like thousands of miles sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, certainly several hundred miles.
Yeah.
Then they'd end up in Dodge City or somewhere like that.
Right.
They go straight to the local saloon.
Right, brothel.
Rocky Raccoon local saloon, get bladderated on whiskey, like from the bottle.
Yeah.
And then...
Moonshine,
that's right. And then, they'd visit a woman upstairs.
Yeah.
And the woman upstairs, if there was a cattle drive on, might entertain 40 men a day.
Right.
So, I mean...
That's a lot, isn't it?
Well, that's a pretty risky sort of physical interaction, isn't it? Don't you think?
It is, yeah.
And so, they all have the clap and,
Yeah, but I wasn't meaning... I wasn't talking about...
It wasn't a good time to be alive. What's your problem?
What do you mean it wasn't a good time to be alive?
Well, it wasn't a good time
You'd
to
have
be
loved
alive.
that.
Oh,
Why
no,
would you not have liked that?
I don't think so.
Because you were working all the time, right? You didn't really have any downtime.
Well,
and the only downtime you had, you spent in a saloon or in rogerisation.
Well, yes.
I think you probably would have liked it, actually, to be a cowboy.
I don't think it's very pleasant rogerisation.
Well, maybe not.
Not sure the women were...
I didn't realise you were so precise about these things.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is it's a more innocent time in terms of television shows.
Oh, I see what you mean,
would have... I mean, because I remember watching the High Chaparral every Saturday night or whatever it was on.
That's right, yeah.
And I was probably, from the age of 8 or 9, you would watch it, and there was nothing there that would be in any way not a family show.
There were too many noble cowboys around, like Bonanza, what was his name?
Hoss.
Hoss, what was the family name?
Cartwright, wasn't it?
Cartwright, yeah. Ben Cartwright was the head of the family.
Yeah.
So there was Ben Cartwright, in Bonanza.
And there was a young guy in that as well, wasn't there? There was always a
Little Joe.
Little Joe.
Little Joe.
Right. Yeah.
Adam and Hoss.
Yeah.
Then there was Big John in High Chaparral.
Yeah.
And then any film...
Who was the beautiful dusky maiden in Bonanza then?
There wasn't one.
Wasn't there?
No, there wasn't one.
Are you sure?
No, definitely not. There was a new wench in every show. And I say wench.
But was there not like the wife
not
of the...
being dismissively, but that's
no,
what
of
they
course.
used to call them.
It's not a sexist phrase.
No.
But was it not the case that there was always the wife of whoever owned the ranch?
No.
And was there not in Bonanza?
No, there's no wife in Bonanza.
Are you sure?
I'm certain. And then John Wayne, every cowboy film he was in... He was Big John as well, except, the name of the cowboy
except
in the
when he was Rooster Coburn.
Yeah, Rooster Coburn.
He wasn't Big John then.
No, he wasn't Big John then. But he was always a very honourable man, fighting Indians, fighting corrupt landowners, fighting guys who were stealing his cattle. Fight anybody, actually, John Wayne.
Well, fighting, remember The Third Man? That was a great film. Not The Third Man, The Quiet Man, sorry.
The Quiet Man, that was in Ireland.
He was in Ireland, yeah.
Where they
he
bashed
wasn't a
each other
cowboy
up.
in that, but that was a great fight.
Yeah,
it was one of the great fights. My dad and I used to watch that over and over again.
It was a great fight across about 4 fields, wasn't it?
Exactly.
In fact, 4 villages almost.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Mick says this: I love listening to the Porkyvision. What a load of rubbish! It's better than actually watching the TV shows.
What do you mean? Look,
it's true, isn't it?
I'm there to appeal, aren't I? Now, listen, I want to tell you about, Yeah,
because we've not got much time.
No, on Mondays you always get our friend on from Brazil.
Yes. Tim Vickery.
Yeah. Now, next week, when you get Tim on, because I've usually gone by the time you talk to Tim.
That's true.
I want you to talk to him about the destruction of the Brazilian economy caused by...
Caused by what?
Caused by...
Is it by the drought?
No.
Lack of water?
No. It's caused by the inflationary price of watermelons.
Oh, yeah.
Watermelons are wrecking the Brazilian economy.
Why?
Because watermelons are a big shortage. They've gone up and doubled or trebled in price.
Yeah.
Poor people are having to ditch spending on anything else except watermelons.
Well, why do they stop buying watermelons?
Well, they love watermelons. They can't live without watermelons, apparently, Brazilians.
Really?
And huge warehouses...
Are you a fan of watermelons yourself?
No, I don't like watermelon.
Do you like any kind of melon?
No, it doesn't
Really?
taste like anything when you chew into it. It tastes like water.
I wouldn't say that.
Oh, it does.
No,
I don't
watermelons have particularly in the summer.
Not
the summer
really.
months, very thirst quenching.
Anyway, due to the watermelon crisis, the
Very
economy has
sweet as
shrunk by 1.7% in the last 3 months, right? Yeah, it looks like investment has plummeted by 15%, and this is supposed to be one of the tiger economies of the world.
Well, but for a long time, actually, since the World Cup, that's been very much on the wane. Because, for the last year or two, we've been talking to Tim about how Brazilian money has bought an awful lot of property in New York, an awful lot of property in Miami, and, the Brazilian kind of currency was really, really pushing its way ahead.
Yes.
But that's all kind of fallen apart now.
Oh, that's right. And
Not least because of the World Cup.
And they've got the Olympic Games coming next July, haven't they?
They have.
Coming up this July. Well, the next
2016.
July in the Canada. That's right, yeah. But it's all down to the watermelon crisis. And,
Really?
and huge warehouses now
Why
under
have they
siege.
become so expensive?
Because there's a shortage of them. Because
so there must have been some harvesting problem then.
Well, you mentioned the drought. I think it's something to do with the lack of water.
There has been a drought,
And then the watermelon crop has been curtailed. And,
I think the water problem was so bad in Sao Paulo. They were literally rationing water.
Yeah. And it means that armed guards are now on the doors of all the warehouses where the watermelons are inside, because if people can't afford them, they won't sell them cheaper because they think that would mean destabilising the economy again. The government has ordered that you can't sell watermelons cheap. Because if you do, the economy will collapse.
Yeah.
So
this is not one of your Ferrero Rocher type
no.
scare stories.
No. There's no light at the end of the tunnel, says Luciano Rostagno, who's chief strategist at Banco Mizuho in Sao... What's your problem?
Banco what?
Mizuho. That's what it's called, in Sao Paulo.
Right.
Best case scenario is that there'll be some turnaround in the second quarter of 2016 if there's more melons around.
Water lemons?
Yeah, watermelons. So,
did you see that piece of film of Tyson Fury breaking a watermelon on his head?
No, I didn't, no.
He did that before the fight,
Did
apparently.
he? Well, I suppose that would be quite graphic, wouldn't it?
Well, it was part of his kind of pre-fight training regimen.
Yeah, okay.
And he's got the camera and he's holding a watermelon above his head and he just crushes it on his head.
Yeah, I stand by my prediction, by the way. Klitschko will bash him up in
I think you're being quite sort of, I would say, rash to make that, because what we don't know yet is the damage that Klitschko's sort of ego has suffered. Well, and the fact that, everyone who said that he was not up to that fight and he didn't really come out and turn up, and he couldn't handle Tyson Fury's movement and all of that. Yeah. I mean, Tyson Fury wasn't moving that much.
Klitschko just didn't take it seriously enough.
No, but he might just be past it.
No, Klitschko, he is not past it. He feels very embarrassed that he let himself get beaten. He didn't take it seriously.
But isn't that a sign that he's past it? Is that he thinks he didn't take it seriously?
No.
Surely that's what he should have done.
He's going to train like mad now for the next fight. He will bash Tyson Fury up. Tyson Fury will be one of the shortest-lived world heavyweight champions in history.
I think you might be wrong about that.
No, I'm not wrong.
But one of the things that is going to happen, he's going to get about 15 million quid, apparently, Tyson Fury, for the fight. So, I mean, even if
three
he
times
loses,
what he got for the first fight.
Even if he loses, that means he'll have made 20 million in 6 months.
Good luck to him, but he won't be the world champ after that fight. That's for sure. You can tell just by looking in Klitschko's eyes. What really impressed me...
No, but everybody said that before this fight. Everybody said Klitschko's going to be too good for him.
Yeah, but Klitschko just looked at him mystified at the ridiculous antics in the press conference with Paxman and all that. He was just sitting there. But he issued his own Facebook or something statement tonight. Did you see it?
I did.
In which he was smiling and said, right, good news for everybody, good news for Tyson Fury, there's going to be a rematch, I'm taking up the option. And I tell you, he was so confident. I knew then, I thought, this man's going to go into that ring and beat up Tyson Fury.
Yeah, but he was confident before the fight as well.
He was somnolent in confidence.
Somnolent?
Yeah, he just sort of shook his head at the antics of Tyson Fury and just said, this man's an idiot, I'm going to beat him. But then when he got in the ring, he found that actually Fury had a lot of energy, he was running around, and he hadn't taken it seriously enough.
But that's the indication that he is indeed past it.
No,
he's lost his faculties.
He's not. Why would he volunteer so quickly to come back in the ring?
Because he needs to get his mojo back.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Is a guy that can't sit around at home thinking, I've actually lost the heavyweight championship of the world.
But in getting his mojo back, I can assure you he's going to get his world title back. That I know for sure. I can tell. I know these things, okay?
All right. Well, I mean, if it's anything like your predictions for this week and the draw for the League Cup, which has put basically Stoke against Liverpool and Manchester City against Everton and Southampton beating Liverpool, which you said was going to happen, I'm afraid it doesn't bode well.
Happen.
You did.
I didn't.
People have been tweeting in saying we just listened to the podcast from last night, and that's exactly what you said.
People do too much listening sometimes. That's the problem.
Too much listening. Yeah. That's an interesting one. Kevin says, I love how Coronation Street writers are up late listening to the show. 55 years of bladderation.
Exactly. That's quite right. That is what they're doing.
Tomorrow night, of course, it's Porky quiz night.
Yes.
And the quiz which you have requested is on the Robbie Burns.
I know a lot about Robbie Burns, believe me.
Do you?
Yeah, you'll be surprised.
How about Robbie Burns?
You'll be surprised.
Robbie Burns is not the quiz.
You'll be surprised.
Okay, well, I mean, I haven't seen the questions yet. They're still being compiled.
What do you mean it's Robbie Burns?
Robbie Burns is his name.
No, that's what his nickname is.
Robbie Burns is his name, trust me.
Robbie Burns.
Robbie Burns.
Well, what does Robbie stand for then?
Robert.
That's what I mean. Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
so
but nobody calls him Robbie Burns. They call him Robbie Burns.
Anyway, you're trying to confuse me. I might start studying the wrong person if you...
yeah, you probably will.
Get it wrong. Yeah, I don't need to study, actually. I know all about Robbie Burns.
Okay.
I didn't tell you that. I didn't tell you that when I selected him as my quiz, but I am an acknowledged knower of things.
Okay.
With Robbie Burns, yeah.
Well, it'll be very poetic justice, I'm sure.
If you love the Two Mics podcast, you'll love the live show. Weekday overnights from 1am on DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM and via the TalkSport app. TalkSport, your Premier League station with exclusive commentaries every weekend.
What an absolute corker!
TalkSport.
Marie Curie?
Marie Curie?
Marie Curie?
Yeah.
She didn't invent anything.
She didn't invent anything. No, she discovered a few things, though.
I don't think she did. I think she just started a charity.
Look at the light!